What up? What up? What up? Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Man, shout out to everybody in the room. Thumbs up in the chat. Yes, OG Weston, I am here. Sorry about Monday, guys. It was my birthday. Had a whole lot going on. It's been a very action-packed couple of days, and I appreciate all the birthday wishes from everybody. All the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day to y'all. And if there are any other birthday folks, say happy birthday to you as well. We got an action-packed show here today. I hate that I missed some of the topics that were going on Monday, because one of the things I really, really wanted to address, even though we're going to get to Elliot Wilson's take on the top 100 diss records all time, even though it's crazy to me that there were actually 100 diss records throughout the course of hip-hop and some stuff was left out, just let you know how competitive hip-hop is in general. But yes, we're going to get to that list. But one of the things that I wanted to start this off with, man, and shout out to y'all in the room, man. Appreciate the love, man. I really wanted to start this off with the fact that it feels like everyone is afraid of the game. And when we saw the game go out there and unleash on Rick Ross like he did, which he had the right to, because he felt like Rick Ross was jumping into something that didn't totally concern him. And, game was like, well, shoot, let me jump in and make this thing interesting. And no response from Ricky, and I love Rick Ross's music. I think Rick Ross is a dope artist, but we've seen Eminem duck the game at this point, because the Black Slim Shady is a legit diss record that should be responded to. I don't even know if it made this list, but we're going to get to that. And then he came with Rick Ross pretty heavy. And Rick didn't have the same energy that he had for Drake to the game, which I felt was interesting. And I have a question out here. I don't understand. I do understand. It's clear what it is. The real boogeyman out here might not be Kendrick Lamar, even though he did a great job in this battle. And, he put his best foot forward. We're going to get to that, even though I don't want to keep talking about that. I think that topic is a little tired, but we'll touch on certain points. But the real boogeyman out here in hip hop seems to be the game. And we just saw 50 Cent, do a post about Jay-Z earlier, poking fun at Jay, saying that Jay's in, basically hiding with this whole Puff thing going on, hadn't been any brunches, whatever. But 50 doesn't continuously go at the game. Even 50 Cent, like, the game is somebody that for whatever reason, when he gets going, nobody wants to respond. Meek Mill never responded to him either. Pest Control was crazy. He got Pest Control. He got 300 bars and running. He got the Black Slim Shady, and now this record. What was it? Freeway's Revenge. None of them have been responded to. And I mean, listen, man, you can say it wasn't like that or anything, Mad Max, but at the end of the day, people have gotten dissed for less. I hate when the game comes with something and people are like, oh, it wasn't like that. Well, he is the game. He's a platinum selling artist. He's a very credible MC altogether. And for whatever reason, the mainstream individuals choose to want us to ignore what he's doing and the things that he puts out there. It is what it is, man. It's clear that nobody wants it with the game. And in our group chat, shout out to LeRoy Green, he brought up a good point. Lupe's a part of that cast too. Because Lupe, whenever he does anything, it shuts it down. There's never really any responses for Lupe of the game. So I would have to say that the game and Lupe Fiasco are some boogeymen out here for real, for real. Shout out to everybody out here, man. Yeah, the game's discography is crazy. And it made me think, with all of those factors involved, I have to say, man, I'm going to have to really knock this out and really, sparse this out and do some rankings. But the game could be a top 25 MC. People say it's because the game is corny. I mean, though, you think Pest Control is corny? I thought Pest Control was pretty heavy. But again, I think people pick and choose who they want to call corny when they want to call them that. But I mean, Freeway's Revenge, I thought was enough to actually respond to. I mean, Rick Ross responded to push-ups, and push-ups wasn't even all the way about him like that. So I don't know, man. I mean, we can we can brush it off and say that the game is whatever, but it feels like based on his output, his aggression, when he gets on these diss records, people don't want it with him. I mean, I don't think that's a terrible assertion to make. Do y'all think the game's discography is corny too? I mean, are y'all talking about the music, or y'all talking about what y'all perceive the person to be? I want to do an interview with the game. How about that? I would love to talk to the game about these things and about, how he feels about it. I think he could be top 25. I got to think about it, and we factor in his longevity, his skill set. We factor in his discography. We factor in, his battle. I'm saying his battle, I guess, awareness, if you will, or agility or abilities, if you will. All set with the super chat says the reason why cats don't really go a game is because they can't match all that energy that he has. The one who I remember that really did was Yuckmouth. Right. Because the thing with game, this turns into a real situation. When I say a real situation, I mean somebody who won't stop. And I think when you get into a back and forth with the game, you're gonna have to be looking for someone that is going to go back and forth with you another 5-6 rounds, like what we saw here. Top 50, definitely. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Y'all think the game ain't top 25? Somebody in here was hating, man. We got haters everywhere. You know what? And this birthday was special, man, because it felt fresh. It felt new. And I love when we get fresh new music, fresh new podcast content, fresh new discussions, because these discussions that we've been having over the past month, I know many of you guys are probably tired of hearing about the whole Kendrick Drake thing. Like, I'm glad that our OGs and some of our current MCs this past week put out new music. And they put out new stuff for us to actually talk about and gravitate to. Because, that's what we do, man. We thrive and revolve around new music and new energy and everything that's going on in the culture that's new and fresh. That's why this battle was so refreshing to people, even though it was people who we've known for about 10, 12 years musically, and a beef that was bubbling for about 7 years. We still got fresh new music from them. And the fact that you can get 4 new Kendrick Lamar songs in the course of a week, we got to celebrate that. And then the fact that you can get Drake out here rapping at the level that he was rapping on a consistent basis over a 2 weeks period of time, we got to celebrate that. But this top 100 list, Elliot Wilson put it forth, and I don't know how long it took him to put this together, but just from my experience, putting these lists together aren't easy. So first of all, I'm going to give people grace on that. And it sounds like we probably put this list together in a short period of time, at least a week, because They Not Like Us is literally a week old, right? So he put this list together under a week, and you got 100 hip hop songs all time. I heard Wankster wasn't on there. Do we have the list here? Are you guys ready to get into the list?
Yep, we're ready to get into the list, brother.
Oh man, LeRoy's in the building too. We got Ron here
to the list.
Our camera centered or whatnot. Oh yeah, shout out to the Hawks, man. Hawks got that #1 pick, man. It's gonna be crazy. I got my pick the right person.
I got my Rock Nation. I'm excited. I'm excited about somebody.
You know what I was doing? Real sidebar, man. On my birthday, man, I was going through Jay-Z's catalog, and I was playing some of my favorite Jay-Z songs. And Heart of the City. I don't know, man. For me, that record, it hits different, man. It encapsulates everything that we were seeing at the time with Jay's career. Like, everybody was coming at him. If you lived that moment during the Blueprint, I think revisionist history it was Jay and Nas, right, going at each other, since we're talking about diss records. But at that time period, Jay had a lot of people coming at him. Prodigy. He had what was his name? J.L. Felony. It was a whole lot of individuals, man. But when he was like, my nigga Big predicted the shit exactly. More money, more problems. Gotta move carefully, because niggas hate when you getting money like athletes. Youngins ice grilling me. Oh, you're not feeling me? Fine, cost you nothing. Pay me no mind. Look, I'm on my grind, cousin. Ain't got time for front. Sensitive thugs, y'all all need hugs. Damn, little man, why you trying to do me? Record's $2 million. I'm just trying to do 3. Get a couple chicks, get them to try to do E. Hopefully they'll menage before I breach my garage. I don't want much. Fuck, I drove every car. I mean, it's like, bro, like I get it, man. In the last verse, man, it's like,
hey,
I wait for more bullshit. You knew me before records. Never disrespected me. Now that I'm successful, you pull this shit, nigga. I step to your balls, man. Let's end the speculation. I'm talking to all y'all. Male shouldn't be jealous. That's a female trait. What you mad because you push dimes and he sell weight? You don't know my expenses. I gotta buy bigger plates and more baggy. Why you all aggy? Nigga, respect the game. That should be it. What you eat gonna make me shit, nigga. Where's the love? I'm like, yo.
Real as shit.
I felt that, man. I felt that.
Hey,
and you know,
let me be clear real quick. I'm gonna get off the J with, but I feel you. But I'm gonna be clear real quick. I don't know anybody from Rock Nation, so I will not front. The person I got this information from, I don't think he know anybody from Rock Nation. I could be wrong, but we had it. I had a message earlier, and it wasn't even about Jay. It was about producers. And the person I was talking to, he's a friend of mine. He's a rapper. And he was like, yeah, you know, I'm getting beats. I got beats from this guy. I got beats from this guy. I think I could work things out for this guy. This one guy, though, I'm not going to be able to work with him because he's busy. He's real busy. And I'm like, busy doing what? He's busy working on a project with Hove. So I will that, but again, I don't know. And again, we were talking about producers. It was a side comment, but hopefully,
man, conversational Jay is. I mean, to me, is him at its best. And a lot of the records that I found myself playing were conversational Jay-Z records, but that was one of those where I feel like the worlds collided with Kanye's soulfulness and Kanye's introspective nature with Jay-Z's conversational flow. And to me, it's one of Jay's stronger songs. It's hard for me to say that it's a top 3. It's one of my top 3 favorite personally. I can't go out on the record and say it's better than a song like The Evils or anything, but I would probably put it on my personal list over The Evils because I felt, Heart of the City like that. And then the hook, it just goes right into everything that, he was talking about on the record. And what Jay's really great at is letting you know where he's at that time. A young dude came to me and was like, he hadn't gotten into Jay-Z's catalog like that, but he hears that he's one of the greatest. And I'm sitting here thinking like, well, where should I start him out in Jay's catalog? Because he's one of those music listeners that wants to listen to a person's whole catalog and be able to, take all of that in. And I would say you started Reasonable Doubt, but Reasonable Doubt's very dense lyrically. You might not totally understand everything that's going on Reasonable Doubt like that if you don't have something that kind of preps you for Reasonable Doubt. Because there's a reason why, other than them being independent, the Reasonable Doubt was kind of slept on from its initial release because it doesn't grab you like that until you have something else that grabs you. So saying all that to say, I was thinking maybe I should tell them to listen to the Blueprint first. Because I think the Blueprint kind of gives you insight on who the man is in a very palatable way. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
No, you should. You should give them a Blueprint. Reasonable Doubt, great album, but I think you got to live first and then listen to Reasonable Doubt. And when I say live, I mean live. You got to be a traveler, go around the world, be someone that's experienced, have some kind of have a wealth of experience in your life, and then listen to Reasonable Doubt so you could kind of relate. If you can't, because Reasonable Doubt, again, that wasn't supposed to be an industry thing. Reasonable Doubt is for Jay-Z's homies in the street. That's what the album was supposed to be. Jay was still in the street and he only wanted to make one album. So that's not the album for the public. It just so happened that that's what we got. Conversational.
Rhymes said he's back. Shout out to you. bro. Yeah, go ahead, LeRoy. My bad.
Conversational flow. I think Joe Budden got a dope conversational flow too that was never really put up like that. But Makings of a Murderer is not on this list either. And he really went at Drake. He really got at him on that. So we can touch bases on everything. But yeah,
we'll get to the list in 1 second too. But I do want to kind of get that order together. It's like, should you listen to Reasonable Doubt second, or
I wouldn't even mess with Reasonable Doubt. I mean, they're gonna, because anybody who you tell about Jay-Z, they're gonna go listen to Reasonable Doubt anyway, whether you tell them to or not. So they're gonna listen to it. But I think they should go Volume 1. I think they should go Blueprint. And I just think that, like, you have to have a certain mind state for Jay-Z. Jay-Z is not like every other rapper, and there are 100 different rappers that are individuals. So when you're thinking of a certain rapper, you have your own mind state on that. Jay-Z is a certain individual. Like, if you're someone who is maybe you're interested in the corporate world or the legality world or the sales world, or you're in business, like you're a businessman. You went to school for business. You are in business. Now, when you listen to Jay-Z, listen with that ear. Like, listen with that ear of, okay, I'm here to do business. I'm here to win in a business setting. Now listen to Jay-Z, and you could get that mentality. It's just a street mentality that crossed the business. That's all.
I think that the Blueprint gives you a variety of where Jay is in his mindset at that moment, because there was a lot of things going on, right? He was at the top of the game. He had a lot of people coming at him from a battle standpoint, and he was also changing his sound up a little bit as well. I would say the Blueprint first, and I'm just going on the first half of his career, because I think that the stuff that he did after retirement, you can listen to all of that in the order that it came out. You know what I'm saying? So you could listen to those things in the way they came out. But I would say I'm gonna have him listen to the Blueprint first. I might say Volume 2 after that, and then Reasonable Doubt maybe, and then Volume 1.
Yeah.
And then, Volume 3, Blueprint 2, Dynasty, and then end with you know what? No, I'll say Dynasty, the Blueprint 2, and then the Black Album. I would definitely end with the Black Album in that first, run.
Yeah.
And you could definitely go Blueprint 2 to Black Album, because you could feel like lyrically where he's going on the Blueprint 2 that got you to the Black Album. So yeah, let me revise that. I'm gonna say the Blueprint, Volume 2, Reasonable Doubt, Volume 1, Volume 3, the Dynasty, Blueprint 2, and then the Black Album. Listen in those orders to understand the artist, because he does a really good job of letting you know where he's at that time. And I think that the Blueprint's going to let you know why he's held high as a lyricist and as a writer and as a songwriter in the culture. Yep. Volume 2 is going to let you know, how he became a hit maker and why he is viable in the hit making space. Reasonable Doubt lets you know who he was as an MC and who he was as a person coming out the gate. And then you could probably understand those other things a little bit more, listening to Reasonable Doubt third. Matt Max in the chat says, to Elliot Wilson, this is why we go to Kai Center for hip hop media. I'm 28, and even I know not like this, or not like us, or whatever. And B2B ain't top 10 disc records.
I don't not like it.
Let's get to that. Let's get to that. And before we leave the Jay-Z, because I know we touched on Jay-Z, that was like an off topic. We didn't have that plan. Tomorrow night we are doing the Jay-Z versus Nas guest appearances, right? Their best guest versus. Yeah. And that show, it's gonna be at 7:00 tomorrow. Jay-Z, Nas, their 10 best guest appearances of all time. So check that out. There's some surprises, some things that we left off. I'll give you a little hint. We left off God Did. That did not make the list, but there'll be 10. And then the number one Nas guest appearance We already know what it is. Y'all probably can already guess what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But there's some surprises. We didn't use any Beyonce joints. We didn't use any
no Beyonce joints.
We didn't use any Jay-Z verses on Beyonce. The Nas list was pretty solid. Vay came through on that. I had the J list. So tomorrow at 7:00, Jay-Z, Nas, the best 10 guest appearances of all time. So
I would love, after we get done with the diss record stuff, I would love to hear LeRoy's top Jay-Z and Beyonce collaboration.
They got a whole album, but they got 10.
I mean, I didn't say top 10, it's just top. You know what I mean? Like, how do you rank his featured verses on her records? I would like to hear that from LeRoy, you know.
Awesome.
Because I know he's going to be super biased already, and I think that he doesn't really put his best foot forward lyrically when he's on tracks with her, in my personal opinion.
Not like us, though. Kendrick Lamar. I don't want to hear no more talk about the kicking knowledge and the club records when you can do both. Not like us is both. We're in the club and we're hearing the knowledge, so you can do both. I just want to throw that out there. People act like you got to separate. I could go to the club and kick knowledge. You could do both. Rap is about what you want to do. Nobody's stopping you on this microphone. If you want to make the club banger and have the first two verses where they like then the last verse you kick some knowledge, you could do that. There's no rules saying you can't do that.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, let's get to the list. Let's start off. Elliot Wilson, HipHopDX. They came out. They did something like
HipHopDX or XXL?
No, it's HipHopDX.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure where Elliot Wilson was now. I guess I'll keep him tied to XXL.
So they started the list off at, let's go 195. So they did
Control. That's a diss record.
I didn't think it was.
See, come on, Elliot, man. See, now are we gonna start like that? Are we just gonna shoehorn Kendrick into lists even if it's not a diss record?
99 was the Game Buttons. Number 98, Little Kim, Black Friday. Number 97, Jazz, Over. Number 96, 50.
Time out. I'm sorry, Ron. Time out. Did Buttons ever respond to the Game's Buttons diss record?
Yeah, I think he did.
Okay. All right, cool. I just want to know.
Yeah.
On what record was it?
I'd have to look it up, but I do remember listening to a Joe Budden dissing the Game. You know, okay. I can't. You know, I remember. I don't know what the name of the song was, but I remember him saying.
They can help us out in the chat. Shout out to Joe Budden for responding to the Game because a lot of people don't do that.
Right.
All right.
The Game just wants to rap, and like the Game and Lupe. Now the Game, he also got his issues, you know, which makes him kind of sketchy. Because again, if you diss Game the wrong way, he's gonna react a little bit differently. However, 99% of the time, he just want to rap, and it just goes to show, like, if you were skilled at rapping, you could back down the Game because they don't want to go. They don't want to rap against you. They want to pull out some salacious talking points about you. They don't want to bar up against you. And Game is good to bar up.
The chat says it's Big Shot. That's the record.
Big Shot. So real quick before we go to the next part of the list, let's talk about Control. What did y'all think about Control? Mike, start with you. What do you think about Control? Because I didn't think, again, I hate saying this again. I'm gonna have to do a montage of me saying this. I didn't think Control was like that. You know what I mean? I thought it was okay. I thought Jay Electronica was actually right, saying that Kendrick's verse was a moment. I think Drake even said this. It was a moment, but it wasn't no memorable verse. But if we count it as a diss record, what was your thoughts on Control?
Well, my thing is, who did he diss exactly? Like, you know, if we're gonna count this as a diss record, who exactly did he diss? For him to sit there and say that he would out rap, you know, certain individual MCs whenever he got the opportunity to do so. I don't think that's a diss. That's what every MC does. That's what every MC says. Now, if Elliot Wilson wants to clarify and say that he felt Kendrick was dissing New York, I guess you could possibly say that. But again, he took that line from Corrupt. So I think that Control is another example, and don't kill me, guys. You know, I know the Kendrick fans are gonna say I'm a hater. I like Kendrick, I'm a fan. I think that the Control verse was another example of mainstream media continuously crowning Kendrick prematurely. I mean, I think that when Kendrick does something, they elevate it to a level that it might not need to be. And I only say that because if somebody else did it, let's just say a Big Crit or something, it wouldn't have the same media effect. And nothing that Big Crit is doing lesser or more than what Kendrick is doing. They could do the same exact thing. But when Kendrick does it, it just gets inflated and elevated. And it puts you in the mind of what they've done to Eminem throughout his whole career. But it's a little different because I think that Kendrick has definitely made the Good Kid, Mad Cities, the To Pimp a Butterflies, but I don't want to say other people have made To Pimp a Butterflies, but there have been albums that could have been held to that standard as well. And it just feels like whenever Kendrick does anything, the mainstream media just throws it all the way up to the top. And I think the Control verse is an example of that. Not a bad verse. It's not an all-time great verse like they would make you think.
It's just it's not. And I'm talking to some guys at YouTube. I got a meeting in YouTube in New York in a couple of weeks. And we're gonna try to make our pod able to play music at some point. And I wanna push back on you, Mike, on this To Pimp a Butterfly situations. Last night I sat up all night listening to Kendrick stuff, and you know, To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm sorry, man. We have to take another show topic. It ain't
no. Go ahead.
I mean, because it's just not like that, man. I don't understand.
Well,
I just don't understand. It's just, production wise, it just doesn't sound good. But I don't want to get off topic. We'll say that for another show. But
I mean, we can have a whole debate.
People just say, and my dude Super Duper. I hit Super Duper last night. I said, "Yo, man, am I missing something? I'm not intelligent. Did I not go to the right college?
No.
Am I not? Did I not spend enough time in LA?" On Cali, I'm just not understanding this To Pimp a Butterfly shit, man. It just don't sound good. But that's another show.
So lyrically, you didn't think that?
I mean, lyrically it's cool, but I mean the music. I'm talking about the music. I mean, it's just the music.
How much $1 costs? Hood Politics, Mortal Man, Black of the Berry. I remember when I heard Black of the Berry, I was in Fort Lauderdale, you know what I'm saying, riding around, kicking and whatever. And I was listening to satellite radio. And this is well before the album came out. And then when I heard the Black of the Berry, I was like, yo, he's about to make his best album. And I mean, I felt that. And
it wasn't Section 80 though, Mike. It wasn't Section 80. Now, Section 80, I rock with. I play Section 80.
Well, I gotta ask, and you know, I don't want to get into the particulars of why you don't like this or whatever. But what makes you like Section 80 more than To Pimp a Butterfly?
I like his flow on Rigor Mortis, Ronald Reagan era, like how he's getting into his flow. Like it's just the production's a little bit more solid to me. It seems like he's trying to. I don't hate to say this, but Section 80 sounds less quote unquote artistic than To Pimp a Butterfly. It just sounds like a guy that's rhyming from his perspective, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I can relate to it more. I really can't relate to what he's saying. It's like it's all over the place artistically on The Pimp a Butterfly. I really get it's like it's more focused on Section 80. And that's
these walls. I mean, I remember when Damn came out. I was listening to Abstract Radio. Shout out to Q-Tip. Hope you bring that back at some point. But Damn was out and it had just come out. And I was sitting here thinking, like, in my mind, you know, To Pimp a Butterfly was the superior album. And I think I just heard Kendrick basically put Damn over To Pimp a Butterfly. And then in the mix, they played These Walls. And production-wise, I was like, yeah, man, this album's on a whole nother level than Damn. For me, To Pimp a Butterfly, like I said, when I first heard it, I didn't listen to anything that anybody was saying on social media. I was just going off of what I had heard. I was like, it's the best hip-hop album I heard since Supreme Clientele. Now, I don't know if I was totally correct on that, but that's how highly I thought of To Pimp a Butterfly when I first heard it. But sonically, where he was taking it, musically, the themes, the way it flowed together, I was talking to Rave about this a while back. It's like a play, like it's like a stage play. Even how he builds up with the Tupac interviews and how that actually goes into the next and just has an ending piece from beginning to end on that album. But I get it. I'm a nerd when it comes to that stuff, and I like, you know, the themes that Outkast came with and the musical journey that somebody will take you on. Other people didn't feel that way about the album, and I remember that when the album was out, I was like, y'all not hearing what I'm hearing, and I'm like, it's cool. People don't get it. It's cool. And I'm saying people ain't smart enough to get it or anything like that. It don't touch people's palate in that way. Some people like different things that come from their hip hop than others. I do. Y'all know me. I roll with Tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I run in the artistic, artsy, nerdy field sometimes. And when Kendrick did that, I was like, it's the best album he made to me.
When the last time you listened to the album, and when the last time you listened to Supreme Clientele?
I listened to Supreme Clientele maybe a couple of weeks ago. I haven't listened to Pimp Butterfly in months, I'm sure.
I'm about to say yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, listen, if we want to compare Supreme Clientele and To Pimp a Butterfly, I mean, the way that Ghostface is rapping on Supreme Clientele is just superior to damn near anything I've ever heard. Let me say Mad Max Super Chat. I'm gonna get to you real quick, LeRoy. Oh, I think I missed one that was up here.
Because I was one of those guys saying Kendrick ain't it, and the fans came after me like still here.
Mad Max says, I mean, Dot and M have the same fan base. A bunch of 18-year-old boys and girls. He don't get no bum by the brothers. He don't get no bump by the brothers in his demo.
Right.
I mean, is that true? Let's see. Mad Max says, love you, Mike, but if you thought To Pimp a Butterfly was great, you might need new ears because that album is for the Mayo Pack people and brothers and sisters not vibing. Okay.
Let me speak to that.
I mean, Mad Max, me and Mad Max kind of on the same wavelength, man. Because I'm sorry, man, and me, my man, Super Duper too, man. Super Duper on the same.
Ain't no street shit on there. Listen,
I mean, ain't about being street shit. It's not good shit, man. It just don't sound.
I know what y'all
good.
mean, and I'm not saying that it's about the street shit. Let me clarify what I'm saying. When it comes to Ghostface, right, and Wu-Tang in general, they're able to satisfy all these multiple audiences because they can give you that hip hop core aesthetic while still doing some comic book superhero shit, right? Not everybody can do that. And I think that Kendrick had a certain identity for Section 80. He had a certain identity for To Pimp a Butterfly, for Good Kid, Mad City, for Damn, and even for Mr. Morale. And I think that the type of artist that he was on To Pimp a Butterfly, I draw more to that more artsy, introspective artist that he would have been on that album. Because really, when you look at it, he's really been 5 different artists on all these albums.
Right. As you should be. You should be all the different aspects of your personality. I'll just say real quick about Kendrick Lamar. 3 things. First, with control, right? I think if an artist comes out and he's naming names of all the hot current rappers and he's naming names and saying, I'm better than you, I'll out rap you. That's rare to me. I don't hear that often. So I have to give Kendrick credit for that. Because he's naming names, you know, Pusha T or whoever, or this guy, that guy. I'm better than all of them. He's naming your name. So that's 1. 2.
Well, when the game does it, he's clout chasing. I'm defending the game today.
Okay. No, I got you. I got you.
Again, that's what I'm saying. Like, Kendrick gets the benefit of the doubt for everything.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I think why. I'm gonna tell you why I think why. On my last point. My second point is I think there are 3 levels in my mind right now of a hip hop fan. Right. So you have the people that kind of just don't care. They listen to whatever's playing, right? Then you have the Mayo crowd, or what you want to say, and then you have the people that they'll get into Drogas Waves or J Electronica. They're super, or Cannabis. They're super lyrical, right? So that middle lane of the Mayo crowd, I don't think we should look at them as all stupid or lesser than. Some of these people are very intelligent. So it's like, I don't think, I think we need to look at them as they can grasp a message too, just like we can grasp it, right? And the third thing, though, I think with Kendrick, remember Chris Cross back in the day? We watched Chris Cross and we were like, oh, they're just like us because we were kids and we saw kids and we're like, they're just like us, right? So I think when Kendrick comes out in 2010 and 11, in a kid's mind, Kendrick is a kid. Like they look at Kendrick as a kid, not an adult. So they're seeing Kendrick. Yeah, they're seeing Kendrick grow up. I thought Kendrick was a little kid. I didn't know he was grown. I thought he was like Mac Miller,
Why did you think he was a kid? Because of his voice, or just the Good Kid, Mad City theme, or his height?
I mean, just how he looked to me. He looked very young to me. I thought he was maybe 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, pardon, when you're not a kid when you're 20 years old, but when you get to be an old man, you look at a 20-year-old as a kid to you. That's just right. You just perceive a 20-year-old as a kid in your mind, So I think that the kids looked at Kendrick Lamar like, this is a kid. Now they saw him trying to rap. Nobody was biting. He puts out a mixtape, nobody's biting. He puts out freestyles, nobody's biting. He puts out another mixtape, nobody's biting. All of a sudden, Dr. Dre comes on and he's like, I kind of like this kid, Kendrick, I kind of like this kid. Now it's like, okay, somebody's biting and it's Dr. Dre. So I think in the young kid's mind in the mid 2000s, they look at that as seeing a kid come from Compton. Compton is like New York-esque to what the Bronx is to New York is what Compton is to California, right? So they see Kendrick as a kid who was trying, then all of a sudden made it. And that plays in their mind as an inspiration to them.
I never saw that part of Kendrick though. What I saw, and I remember when I first really heard of Kendrick, my homeboy Melvin, he was a producer. He hit me and was like, yo, you got to hear this Section 80. And, Kendrick Lamar, he popping or whatever. And so I listened to it. I was like, it's dope or whatever. And then next thing you hear, Dr. Dre's working with them. And then they're crowning him on stage as the next heir of the West Coast. I mean, in my eyes, it happened pretty fast for Kendrick. Now, I can't speak for people who've been following the whole journey, but it seemed like as soon as Section 80 hit, it was on. You know what I'm saying? And but I'm sure out west where you at, y'all probably saw the whole grind. Like, what was the first? Yeah. And we'll get back to this countdown too. I gotta ask you this because I don't want to go too far off topic. But do you consider Control as a diss record?
I could take it. I could see both sides of the story, but I'll take it as a diss if that's what we're talking, because he's naming names and he's saying I'm better than you. So if we're gonna count that, I can see that.
We're gonna count that. Big Crit responded to it. He never responded back to it. So did he lose that beef or that battle?
I don't think he could respond because about 20 diss records came in after Control. And I think if you drop a song, and I've seen that done before, I'm not going to say there's somebody who's done all this stuff before and never gets no credit. But I've seen somebody diss everybody and then everybody dissed him. When you do that, it elevates your word. Like, okay, your words motivated people to diss you. Papoose dissed him. Mickey Fax dissed him. I think Fred the Godson. I think a bunch of people. Joe.
It's like Control is like first person shooter. It's like it's just like a light jab. It's like a setup. But he didn't respond. Papoose had a response to Control right when it came out, and he was hitting Kendrick, and Kendrick never responded to that. And Papoose shit was tight. You know what I mean? So
it's Papoose, of course. But I think that Kendrick didn't name some of those people in the record. I only mentioned Big Crit because he was actually named in the record. So you could sit there and ignore the people that you didn't name or whatever and just say, like, okay, they're not, whatever you want to say. I wasn't talking to them. But you mentioned Big Crit and he responded. And there was no response from that. So if we're going to call that a diss record, are we going to be objective enough to say, well, Kendrick never responded to Crit?
Yo, Mike, I had to put this on. I had to put this on the screen. My man from Bawana Foundation said 50 ain't got 20 records. Come on, man. Let's be for real. Let's keep it for real, man. 50 don't have 20 records, man. We got 20 mixtape records. So Return of the Body Snatchers, you got 20 joints on that. You know, come on, let's be for real, guys.
Mad Max in the super chat says them crowning him was weak in NY. Gotta take the crown. You don't get given one. That's babyface marketing. Now, I will agree with Mad Max on that.
I gotta disagree.
To crown somebody before anything's really released like that.
We did it before, though. If Dr. Dre walks in here right now and Dr. Dre says Mike is the new best thing, we're gonna co-sign Mike. We don't care what anybody says. If Dr. Dre said, look, when Dr. Dre said Snoop is the next one, we said okay. He said M is the next, 50 is the next.
No.
That's Interscope. That's Interscope games, man. That's Interscope.
Time out.
Drake, Kendrick is the guy. We said
Doggy Dog had deep cover. Snoop Doggy Dog was on G Thing. And then after all of those things that he did on the Chronic, he came with Doggy Style like 11 months later. So no, he proved these things along the way. It wasn't just talk.
Kendrick had high power.
That's a good observation, Mike. Hold on one second, Leroy. Does is Good Kid, Mad City better than Doggy Style?
Hell no. Okay. Emphatically, hell no.
I would say no. I'm from the Doggy Style era, but if I didn't grow up in the Doggy Style era and I grew up in the Kendrick era, I may have some pushback. I may have some pushback.
See some pushback, but once you play those records and you press play side by side, it's no comparison. There's not a lot of. I would say there's about maybe four hip hop albums better than Doggy Style. Maybe that it could be just legitimately hands down better. Y'all know how I feel about Rakim and Paid in Full. I can't definitively say Paid in Full is better than Doggy Style. And Paid in Full got 4 top 50 hip hop songs on it all time.
Right, but you know that Dr. Dre cosign, the Dr. Dre cosign isn't everything because sometimes it doesn't work, right? Like we've seen it not work too, but when you cosign someone, it's kind of a big deal in California. It just is. It's Dr. Dre.
That's an Interscope. That's an Interscope.
Telling me to log off for what reason?
That's Dre, man. When Dre told me Kendrick was somebody, I at that time I was like, I like some other people. You know, I was in.
He's on Interscope. What's Dr. Dre supposed to say? He's from the West Coast. He's from Compton.
Dr. Dre. He rarely says somebody is that guy. Like a decade's passed before he says that. You know.
I want to clarify this too because Paid in Full is definitely next level. Y'all know how I feel about Akumanai. I wrote a whole article on Akumanai possibly being the greatest hip hop album ever. But if you sit there and put Akumanai up against Doggy Style, I don't know if Akumanai beats that. Doggy Style is that heavy. Like those tracks just come through. And the way they come through the speaker, like one of the biggest moments that I've seen with the power of Dr. Dre's production and the power of Doggy Style is when Snoop Dogg and DMX had their verses. And DMX played Slippin', which was an incredible song. One of DMX's best records.
For sure.
And this nigga Snoop played Murder Was the Case right after it. It dwarfed that incredible record of Slippin'. It was amazing how small, and I say this respectfully, how small Murder Was the Case made Slippin' sound. The way that Doggy Style shit sounds, man, that shit is something else, man. You have to have a Illmatic, Only Built for Cuban Links, or It Takes the Nation of Millions to actually, combat that.
Yo, we got Super Duper in the building. He's gonna join the conversation before we get back to the list. What's up, Super Duper?
What's up, fellas? What's happening?
What's up, bro?
What's good, bro?
Hey, what's on that list, man? I got some songs that should be on that list. I wanted to join. I wanted to hear about that list.
Let's go back to the list. So 94 through 90, we got Pastor Troy, No More Playing GA. Number 93 is Jeezy 2423. We got 92, Rick Ross, Mafia Music. 91, Mobb Deep, Lil' Kim, Quiet Storm remix. And then we got 90, Charged Up by Drake.
So they got no DJ Quick dollars and cents on there?
I think it's gonna get there. We work on our way down. We work on our way down the list. Right now, we at number 90 right now. We at number 90. So let's go to 89 through 83. We got Tragedy, Gaddafi, Blood Type, 89. 88, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Pissing on Your Steps.
Mm-hmm.
We got Mac 10 featuring Ice Cube, WC, Westside Slaughterhouse.
Yay.
86, DJ Pooh featuring Cam, Whoop Whoop. Number 85, Capone Noriega featuring Mobb Deep and Tragedy, Gaddafi, LALA.
Fire.
84, we got 50 Cent, Tony Yayo, I Run New York.
A personal favorite of mine.
Let me get this band out the way. And then we got 83, Jadakiss and Styles, P Problem Child.
Another personal favorite.
LA.
Yeah, that was fire.
I was fire.
LA was hard. Let's go down the list. 82 through 81. We got 50 Cent, Not Rich, Still Lying. And then we got Capone Noriega, Foxy Brown, Bang Bang, 81.
Now, I will say that. Foxy Brown's verse on Bang Bang going to Lil' Kim was heavy. I got to give him that. But, if we're talking about, I got to see the rest of the list, so we'll go through the rest of the list. But when you're picking out one verse and constituting it as a diss record, it makes me feel like these things were done so that they could once again shoehorn in Kendrick's verse on Like That.
Let's keep going. 80, Roxanne Shante.
We got a super chat real quick. James Smith, he says, me personally, the story throughout Good Kid, Mad City, the storytelling on Sing About Me and Dying of Thirst, and Kendrick being a better lyricist than Snoop makes Good Kid, Mad City better to me than Doggy Style. Okay.
All right.
That's crazy talk, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk. And if you was there, then you wouldn't be able to say that. But I guess, it's a different generation. But that's just crazy talk, man. That's one of the best albums front to back that, every song on there is fire.
Gin and Juice?
It's not a skip on there.
The Shiznick? Yeah.
I'm on the road, Jai. Am I giving too much feedback?
No, you good.
Yeah. If you could mute yourself when you're not talking, because we're hearing, some of the air in the back.
Okay. All right.
Let me go through the list real quick, then come off mute. So 80 is Roxanne Shante, Bite This, a little early joint, 1985. Shout out to the Rap Roundtable, Kumo D, 79. How You Like Me Now, 1987.
How You Like Me Now? That's too high, man. That should be lower than that.
78, Foolio, When I See You, 2021. Spider Benz, Who I Smoke, Young Dolph. God, I hate that record.
Yeah.
Sometimes diss records can go.
Yeah, man.
Man, that shit. That caused something that shouldn't have happened. Allegedly, we don't know. That
was Memphis hit him up.
So yeah, Cameron, number 75, Curtis.
Yes, love that. Show some courtesy, Curtis.
All right, let's go to 74. 74. Jay-Z featuring Freeway, Young Guns, and Memphis Bleak. I Get High, Freestyle, 2002.
I don't remember that.
J. Rue the Jamager at 73, One Day. Raekwon and Ghostface Killer, Shark Ends, 71, Stillmatic, Freestyle Nas. And then wait a minute. So he actually put a skit here as a record. And honestly, man, that's Stillmatic Freestyle, man. Like, you can't have Ether at number 2 and the Stillmatic Freestyle at 71. You know what I'm saying? Both of those. I mean, if you hold Ether high, as you should, Stillmatic Freestyle has to be high. That's what started the whole. That's the Like That for the Jay and Nas situation. That's exactly what that is.
Okay.
71? Come on, Elliot. Your bias is showing.
I mean, that was the slugs melt in your hat freestyle.
No, you talking about the Nostradamus song. That's over the Paid in Full beat. That's the skip the freeway, hit the freeway, skip through Memphis and money bags, go to Philly, order cheesesteak and 8 beans fast.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, pulled up to the Fake King in New York. I count dough off when you sample my voice. Remember, we used to rhyme like the Foo Snickers. Nas designed your blueprint. Who you kidding? Okay. Man, please.
Okay, I hear you.
Undress the crew, man.
Undress the crew. Number 70, Little B, t-shirts and buttons. All right, 2010. Let's go to 69 through 65. We got Joe Budden, Big Shot. 68, Prodigy, When You See Me, aka Hail Mary Freestyle. 67, A Dog Pound featuring Snoop Dogg and Jewel. What would you do?
Oh, that's an interesting pick. If you could knock out and every nigga down with him. Yeah, okay.
66, Eminem featuring Dr. Dre, Say What You Say. 65 is Machine Gun Kelly, Rap Devil.
Rap Devil should be ranked higher. We're gonna get to that. I didn't like Eminem and Dr. Dre, and Exhibit did this too. I didn't like them coming at Jermaine Dupri, and I'm not just saying this because I'm from Atlanta or whatever. I just thought that was unnecessary, man. Like
that beat.
All Jermaine Dupri said was, if you put him and Dr. Dre in a room by themselves, he's gonna come out with a hit first.
No,
okay, is that worth y'all niggas sitting there dissing the man for? Like, prove him wrong.
We dissing everybody, West Coast. We dissing everything.
I felt like that was just, man. And Snoop didn't co-sign that either. Shout out to Snoop, but it just was like, yo, y'all don't all need to be coming to jail. This is Jermaine Dupri. You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of battle you think you gonna get? Come on, man. And then Eminem sitting here going at cannabis while he's in the army. That's super weak.
Right.
This man wasn't even stateside, and you want to go full blast. You had a whole opportunity to really come at cannabis when he was in full swing, when he had the support of a major label, and this nigga was killing freestyles on every radio station. You said nothing. You waited till this man sitting here serving the armed forces to go wild on him on record. That's crazy.
Hey, Art of War, Mike. Art of War. That's all.
Corny. No. What they do is they pick soft targets. Benzino, Cannabis at War, Mariah Carey, NSYNC, now Jermaine Dupri on that record. So, yeah, I wouldn't even rank that record. Sorry.
Crazy. Let's go down the list. 64 through 56. 57. Got Cameron, number 64, Dear Stan. 63, Beanie Stiegel, Average Cat, 2009. 50 Cent, Your Life's on the Line. That should have been higher. That should have been
way higher.
That's
crazy.
Elliot Wilson, you tripping?
You
that should be top 25, top 30.
Yeah.
61, Rick Ross, Champagne Moments. Okay.
Boo! Come on, man. So you got Champagne Moments over Life's on the Line? No.
36 Mafia, Live by Your Rep.
That's a good one. Not that I believe that Elliot Wilson even knows anything about that. You know what I'm saying? Like
50. He probably got an intern. He got some interns working for him. 59. UNLV, Drag 'Em in the River.
Okay, that's a good. I don't think Elliot Wilson knows anything about that either.
But, I think 58 should have been a little higher. You know what I'm saying? Tim Dog, F. Compton. That should.
You like F. Compton?
I didn't like it, but I think for what it did, you know what I'm saying, as far as a diss record, that should be,
that was straight up clout chasing.
It was bold. It was bold.
It's way too high.
Yeah.
That's way too high up on the list. That could have been the last one.
Right. That definitely could have been the last one. Right. Now, this next one.
57, Calling Out Names was hard.
Woo! Yo, Corrupt went crazy on DMX. Motherfuck D. Motherfuck M. Only X I know is Exhibit and RBX. Extraordinary.
Yeah, Corrupt was Corrupt is underrated. We did an underrated show last week, me and LeRoy on the West Coast, and we talked about the streets as a mother. Corrupt is not held as high as we should hold him up. Him and Raz Kaz, other West Coast cats, we don't only hold them up a high regard like that. I mean, we do as hip hop heads, but the general public doesn't give Corrupt his flowers that they need to. You know what I mean?
High school Mike D went out there and bought The Streets Is a Mother with my McDonald's money. I did that. And shout out to and I was pleased with the album too. Like that shit was crazy. Like I called shots. Niggas was rapping crazy on there. One of my favorite Nate Dogg features is on that album. On the I'm just a dog pound. I'm never gonna give it up. Great.
Come on, man.
That tonight.
That was the album with Girls All Pause on it. Girls
All Pause is the single on there. That was the first time I heard Crooked Eye too. He's on that song with Exhibit.
Yep.
All right, let's keep it going. 56. Eminem featuring 50 Cent, Busta Rhymes. They going at Ja Rule on this Hail Mary.
Never liked that.
I didn't like that record, man. I didn't like that. 55 is Mace the Oracle.
Yeah.
That might need to be a little higher. That was actually really great.
I got to do it again, you know.
54, we got Cameron and Jim Jones, Hate Me Now freestyle. 53, we got Meek Mill, War Pain. No.
Wait a minute. What's War Pain? Was that his response to Back to Back?
I don't know. I got lost in the shuffle.
That shouldn't even be on the list if that's what that is.
They got it kind of high. You know what I'm saying? At 53, 52, Pusha T, Infrared, and then we got Duppy Freestyle at 51.
Hold on. How can you have Duppy Freestyle over Infrared?
Hey, Duppy Freestyle was cool. Duppy Freestyle was pretty good, right? Yeah, cool. I gotta listen again.
It wasn't better than Infrared, man. Infrared was
no. Infrared, I mean, I get it. I think that beat is a little sleepy, man. To me, it's a little sleepy on the beat. You know?
What he say is like, man, shout out to Ross because the message is pure. He see what I see when you see Wayne on tour. Flashing out the fire. Another multi-platinum rapper stuck and can't retire. Niggas get exposed. I see the cracks and I'm the liar. Shit, I've been exposed. I took the crack and
you kind of lied, bro. You kind of... He was calling Wayne broke. Now, I don't know if Wayne's the guy you call broke. But
no. He was saying that Wayne is out here unnecessarily working. And that was true. We're seeing that. The fact that Wayne is doing some things that somebody in his position shouldn't really have to be doing.
You mean rapping? Like, of course.
I mean, doing A3C festivals and things of that nature. Like,
I don't know. That's a good check. I don't know, man. You know, but I think he overstepped, and I think that Pusha, he went at Wayne for so long, it made a fiasco, right? And people say, well, Wayne didn't respond. Wayne responded. It's just that y'all didn't hear the response. But Wayne responded. Wayne was basically said in a freestyle, if it ain't real, it ain't real. Like, if you're gonna beef with me, make it a real beef so we could get down, like in the street. And
Pusha, is that a cop out though? You know what I'm saying? Like when somebody comes at you lyrically, like, is that a cop out though? When somebody comes at you lyrically, you be like, well, you know, it ain't real enough for me, or you know, the only way I'm gonna address it is if it's on some street shit. It's like that's kind of a cop out. If you're an MC, like you said, you just said Wayne's a rapper, rap. Well, if it's like that. Somebody coming at you lyrically, you should be able to respond to them lyrically.
I think Wayne could sense that there was venom. I think Wayne could sense that there was venom with Pusha. With another rapper, you kind of can sense that it's just lyrical. With Pusha, it's almost like, hold on, like, Pusha, do you really have real beef? And I think that
he hates anybody more than Kendrick hates Drake.
Yeah, I'm just saying when I hear Pusha rap, it almost makes me think the beef is real. And then it's like, okay, well, where do you want to go? Like, you know what I mean?
Pusha's always said it was competitive. And my thing is, you know, Wayne and Pusha actually come from a very similar generation because Wayne actually came out before Pusha. Both of them were in groups and then went solo. And so, yeah, if it's a competitive thing, obviously you sold more than this guy. But if it's competitive like that and he wants to come at you on wax and it's no real problem like that, what's the problem with him just sparring with words? If you're one of the best MCs ever, as you say, best rapper alive since the best rapper retired, then if this guy's coming at you lyrically, it should be no problem, right?
I'm not going at Wayne. I'll tell you that right now. Like Wayne, like I go at anybody, but Wayne, somebody who can drop 1,000 songs in like 2 years between like 06 and 08, somebody who's dropping a new song every day for years. I'm not going at that.
Listen, man, Wayne is not no battle rapper, man. He just left Drake out to dry. We just seen it. If it's like that, and I'm gonna keep it real, like I'm gonna say the same thing that I say about Eminem and all that when it comes to stepping to the plate for a battle. If it's like that, you shouldn't have left your man hanging like that.
Yeah,
and this is the same guy who came to your defense when Pusha was coming at you.
And also, he came to his defense on that Family Feud on Dedication. I don't know what Dedication it was, because Wayne had a lot of bars for Birdman. You know what I mean? Like the whole verse was about Birdman. You know what I mean? And Drake was riding. He said you need to pay Weezy with Universal O's. You know what I'm saying? It was like
Wayne, Drake has always rode for Wayne. Nobody could say that about Drake.
He's gonna do that. He got to ride for Wayne, man.
Wayne ain't riding for him like that. Clearly, it was 20 against 1, and Wayne could have at least shut down the Ross and Future situation just from a conversation.
Crazy. Let's go. Let's continue with this list. Number 50 through 45. You got J. Cole. Number 50, False Prophets.
Please. Are they trying to force J. Cole on a diss record list? J. Cole don't want to diss nobody.
That's not really a diss record.
It's not. That's adoration. Now, y'all want to talk about the Black Slim Shady being a fan record. That right there is a fan record.
Right. How to Rob is number 49. Is that really is that a satirical record or is that a diss record?
Yeah, he ain't dissing nobody. He's just having fun. That's what Biggie did Dreams, basically. But he did it with Robin.
Okay.
48. T.I., what's up? What's happening?
Oh, that's a strong one right there.
Fire.
Underrated
47
battle.
is hard. Sheether by Remy Ma. That was hard.
That's
okay. They got hiss over what's up, what's happening. Man, please.
Yeah, Elliot Wilson washed up. I'm sorry. Respectfully, OG, you might be washed.
How you done call Elliot Wilson washed?
Whoever put this list together, maybe it was his interns, his staff, or somebody at HipHopDX, or maybe it was the English dude or whatever. I don't know. But
the British accent.
We might need to talk to the other dudes about who put this list together. But this ain't it, man. His is number 46.
To handle this list.
45 is Rick Ross. Idols, and he was riding for Wayne on that album. So that's probably why Wayne didn't jump into it because Ross went heavy for
this is my thing when idols become rivals. Wayne didn't ask him to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different when Drake's out here trying to have Wayne's back when somebody's coming at him because they're coming at the team. But when it comes to Birdman and Wayne, those guys are damn near family. You know what I'm saying? And whatever they got going on is either going to get sorted out between them, and it's really none of your business, really. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's family business at that point. And so Wayne didn't ask him to do that. I mean, to some extent, and I like Ross. I don't want this to come across as whatever, but that's some clout chasing shit, really. It really wasn't your fight to fight.
I think it's some animosity there between Ross and Birdman. I don't know what happened between them two, but I think something's going on. They don't like each other for whatever reason.
It could have been the Khaled stuff because Birdman didn't give Khaled his money and stuff too. Right? They had legal stuff going on too, from what I remember, what was in the news back then. But maybe Ross felt like he was just standing up for everybody and used Wayne as the proxy because everybody connects Wayne with Birdman in the first place. And I will say that, man, when Wayne came out and said that he wasn't being done right by Birdman, that is egregious because Wayne put Cash Money on his back. Cash Money would be no more if Wayne didn't do what he did in 2004 and keep that thing going, because once Juvenile left, that was a big hit. Then the Big Timers kind of became in the forefront, and then Birdman tried to do the Diddy thing or whatever, like, you know, when Big died and all that, and tried to be the solo star, but Wayne put Cash Money on his back. And he should be appreciated for that.
He did that.
Let's go with the list. 44, Future Metro Boomin, we don't trust you. Nah, come on, man.
Is that even a diss record? And it's high too. Like that subliminal diss record shouldn't even count. Christopher Hogan with the super chat says, "No Easy E. What would you do?"
Easy's coming on the list. Easy's coming on the list. Number 43, T.I. 99 Problems. Little Flip ain't one. Okay, I feel that one. 42, Jeezy, Stay Strapped.
I like what's happening better than the 99 Problems thing, but you know.
Right. 41, Gucci Mane, Truth.
That was very political of them putting those right beside each other. Like nobody wants no problems, I see.
Right. 40, I don't even know how this is rated number 40. Skate Scheming. I don't understand that.
Well, Drake came at Common.
40 though?
Yeah, that's still too high.
39, Kicking the Door, Biggie.
Primo.
See again, subliminal diss records. Listen, man, I'm with Super Duper here, man. Some of this stuff should have been all the way up at the top. I think that you got to get points for being direct. If we don't really even, I mean, we just know what Kicking the Door is about because Nas told us. Yeah. If Nas didn't come forth and say, you know, who you thought Kicking the Door was for, but that's my heart, we wouldn't even know who Kicking the Door really was for like that.
They were just trying to force Biggie on the list.
I agree, because Biggie ain't got no real diss records out there because everything's subliminal.
Yo, Brian G. Drake did respond to comment. I'm gonna tell you the record.
No, but Biggie went at Pac though too on the second to the last song, Life After Death, right?
Yeah, he did.
Where's that one?
But see, again, he went at a Dead Man. Which,
that's true. That's true.
That's not, you can't really rank that. I
wouldn't.
And
I get it.
In my personal opinion, I love Biggie's music, but I thought that was egregious, man. Like, the man's gone.
I thought it was an indictment on Biggie not having enough material that they even allowed that to come out.
You know what? I never thought about it in that way, but you might be right. They might have been like, you know what? He's gone. This is too great to just pass up. Let's put it out.
Yeah.
I would like to speak to people who are in those sessions in Life After Death and really get the inside of that album making process, because that's a very interesting album. Very interesting album.
Hey, Blueprint 2, that smoked ether. Let's get to it.
Oh my goodness. You know what? The Blueprint 2 being at 38 is too high.
Too high, man. That should be like in the 80s or the 90s or the 70s.
Really
that's
name recognition right there.
That shit. I mean, that's just too high. That's just too high.
Every battle to Jay and Nas.
Jay-Z sounded.
Let's do this, man. How in the world is that solo in the Stillmatic freestyle is all the way in the 80s? That's biased.
H to the Izzo was better than that for sure.
Yeah, there's no way anybody could sit here and tell you that the Blueprint 2 song is better than the Stillmatic freestyle. No way.
Your little brother Jungle is a garden to me.
Great line. One of the best lines in the whole back and forth. But that Blueprint 2 is not better than the Stillmatic freestyle, and it's not better than the Last Real Nigga Alive.
Yeah, but Stillmatic freestyle, when that dropped, who heard it when it dropped? Because I heard it way after the fact. Now, and when I'm glad
you said that, LeRoy. I heard it, but you know what happened when that dropped? Hot 97 said they weren't going to play it. That's what happened. They tried to stop the circulation of that freestyle, and the people who were around during that era know that Napster was out there, and we were sitting there downloading the shit on Napster.
That's all I'm saying. When I was outside, I didn't hear nobody talking about that freestyle.
I told not to play it, LeRoy. That doesn't change the greatness of it.
That's fine, but if we didn't hear it though, like we had to go back years later to dig that out. You know what I mean? We didn't hear that
in real time. I didn't dig that out years later. I can speak for myself on that.
All right, for sure. Like Blueprint 2 is hard. I mean, I know people don't like the hook, but
he put that shit
on Jay-Z even had to say at the beginning of the song, I got my swagger back. He knew he lost already.
Yeah.
Swagger. He lost swagger? Because he lost swag? I don't know.
He had to announce that he got his swagger back.
He was reeling. He was real. Let's go. Let's continue with the list. 36. We got the Dog Pound featuring Snoop, New York, New York.
Fire.
Kicking down the buildings.
Fire.
35. They got Kendrick
How's
on
616 in LA over New York, New York?
Yeah, I think 616 in LA is dope. I thought it was one of my favorites in the whole battle, but I think this is a little too high. 34, we got DJ Quick.
Back. Oh, behave.
DJ Quick, $34.00. LL number 33 to the break of dawn. South Bronx Boogie Down Productions 32.
Okay.
MC Light 10% Diss 1988.
Okay. All right.
I'm with that.
South
I think
Bronx should be higher, but
I think 616 to LA is better than Meet the Grands. I think Meet the Grands had like a shock value to it, but from a bar for bar, like Kendrick flowing. Again, I hate to say it reminds me of Section 80 dot. He's rhyming in a way that I can relate to. I don't relate to the other vocal theatrics that Kendrick does. And shout out to Jarv. He said on his show last night, I was in his chat that I need to stop this angle with K Dot that I don't like him. It's no angle, brother. I don't like him. And I gotta be honest. Jarv said I got an angle that I'm just pushing that I don't like K Dot. No, it's no angle. I just don't like his music like that. But I got to be honest.
I do appreciate this at 616 in LA. I could tell, and I think I told you this on the phone when I heard it. I could tell that Kendrick was warming up. And I could tell that he was getting his flow and everything together. He sounded a little bit choppier on the first response on Euphoria to me. I know people love Euphoria, and I'm sure it's very, very high on this list. But 616 in LA, I did like the way he was rapping on there. I will say that.
Yeah, it sounded effortless. It didn't sound like he was trying too hard. It just sounded like a guy that's rapping, that's trying to make a point. He's in his pocket. That's the hip hop that I appreciate. Let's go down the list.
And one more thing, it's definitely the best beat out of the beef.
Yeah,
it's the best produced. It's the best produced beat out of the beef.
Yeah, I'm with you, Super Duper. I mean, a lot of people don't have 616 in LA up there like that, but if you just talk about just from the production to him, how he approached it, it's up there, man. I mean, I got it like in the top 3 of the battle. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Number 30, Roxanne Shante, Roxanne's Revenge, 1984.
Classic.
29, Eminem, The Sauce. Mike, you like that record, right?
I love that record. I'm cool with it being where it's at too. I think that's Eminem's strongest diss record in my opinion. I also like what he did against Everlast on I Remember. I thought that was brilliant. But yeah, The Sauce, when it comes to just rapping and just going in, I thought the beat was dope. And it did still have like those Eminem traits when it comes to Eminem's production, but it was good. It sounded like it went with the pace of what he was doing. That's Eminem. To me, that's Eminem at his best. 2002, 2003 Eminem, or you could even carry over 2001 where he was on Renegade. That's Eminem at his best, in my personal opinion. So yeah, I'm cool with The Sauce being there.
We got LL Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper at 28, 27.
Wait a minute. Let's talk about Jack the Ripper real quick.
All right.
Yo, man, Jack the Ripper was crazy. And I know a lot of OGs feel like Kumo D still won the battle because he did it lyrically. But what LL showed people early on, if you can make a banger and you can come with the delivery, the inflection, the energy, you can win this thing. Yeah, you could be more lyrical than me, quote unquote, but this shit hit.
Yeah, man. Not like us. Same thing.
There's a version of the Ripper Strikes, and not sure Ripper Strikes Back, but Jack the Ripper, which I haven't even seen the Ripper Strikes Back on this list, so I'm guessing it's not on there. I'm hoping it's not super high, but Jack the Ripper, man, there's a version that was on YouTube where DJ sped it up and was cutting it. That shit was crazy. Shit was insane. I gotta find that version.
Shout out to LL, man. Shout out to Kumo D, man. That was a good battle.
Yep.
Number 27, Pusha T, Exodus 23-1. 26, we got Drake, Family Matters.
Try to keep it PG.
25, we got Meet the Grand.
Let's talk about these two. And again, a very political move by putting these two right next to each other.
It's not a good move either, man, because Family Matters is way better than Meet the Grams. Let's be for real, man.
I want to talk about Family Matters, but I'll let y'all go.
Let me cook on Family Matters real quick, man. Family Matters, any other battle would be like the kill shot. It would be the one that ends it all. I think he approached it a little bit. He made a couple tactical errors, right? I think he should have taken that second verse and made that his own separate song, like the drill section. That should have been a whole different record. You know what I'm saying? He should have made that separate. But I see what he was trying to do. He was trying to put together like a masterful disc that kind of touched a lot of different things. I didn't mind. I don't think the third verse. I like the third verse. When you put your hands on your girl,
I like the third verse is brilliant. Somebody said that he was rapping in a Michael Jackson type of melody too, and I gotta go back in my Rolodex and think of what rhythmic pattern or melody that could be. But I think the last verse on there is brilliant.
I think it's brilliant. I don't take it as singing. I think he's rapping, and it's like a melodic type rap. I don't think he's like singing to homie. I know I heard a lot of other folks saying he was singing. A lot of knock on Family Matters to say he was distracted, but I think you still have to say this is unprecedented times. We're in the post-Me Too era. We're in like the TikTok era. Drake was the first rapper to really have a lot of people going at him within days and weeks. Like Jay back in the day had a lot of folks coming at him, like J.O. Felony, Nas, Prodigy. He had a whole lot of cats coming at him, but it wasn't like in succession within the days you drop a record, because the technology, you could put out music a little bit more quicker and distribute it thanks to DSP. So it's a little different. So Drake was in a new type of situation, and I think he had to touch on these guys. He gave K-Dot that smoke on the first one. He gave K-Dot that smoke on the third verse. I thought it was a good record. I think if going back in hindsight, he might have should have broke the records up and released them separately to kind of hit his points. But that's where I'm at with it.
Go ahead.
No, I agree with that. I can see that point. That's all.
All right. This is my thing with Family Matters. I think that Drake intended for Family Matters to be the finishing move. I think that he thought this was going to be it, because we know that Kendrick doesn't really respond, you know what I'm saying, with massive amounts of music. And I think when he heard 616 in LA, he felt like, okay, well, he ain't got nothing new after this for a minute, so let me go ahead and hit him with the best I got. I think what threw everything off is the fact that we got Meet the Grams 30 minutes after Family Matters. But if Family Matters was in a vacuum and we go back years later and listen to all of these records, it's probably going to be one of the best records in this whole back and forth on both sides. But I think the way it happened and the way that Kendrick played it, it stunted the growth of Family Matters immediately. But with that being said, it's hard to rank it high at all, because the impact that it could have had didn't happen because Meet the Grams came. You know what I mean? And I think that diss records, you kind of have to judge them on what they did and the damage that they did. I think that if we want to talk about the greatest diss records of all time, we have to rate a couple of things. We got to rate who it's up against, right? The challenger and how great they are and where they are in their career, and also the damage that it did. Family Matters did no damage. It didn't have any time to do any damage. You know what I'm saying? You just can't rank it high like that. I mean, it had potential to do so, but his plans were stopped right before it even could take place.
It was cool. It was a cool record. You know, it fed right into Kendrick's plan. You know what I mean? And this is why you got to be careful with Kendrick or anybody that jump out the window first, because they jumped out the window first so you could play into it. So they already, Drake knew that. It's art of war. But Drake is thinking, it's whatever. I'm gonna win anyway. And
what Family Matters is, though? It's like when somebody makes a great shot with 2 seconds left on the clock that could have won the game, and then the other team goes in there and hits the game winner. We don't remember that other shot anymore.
I can see that.
We don't.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta be honest. I'm surprised that after even a couple of days, a couple of weeks, that y'all even like that song like that. I mean, if you pull up the lyrics to that first verse, it's lame, man. Like, just say it, read them out loud and read them lyrics, man. It's trash, man.
It's a
Like,
day
we gotta keep it real, man.
I think a
It's,
day free.
I expected better from Drake.
The only part I didn't like
Read that first verse.
The free part when he was like, not that kind of free, my nigga Dave, or whatever he said. Like, I didn't like that. I think that was...
Man, if we got time, pull them lyrics up and read. Let's end this discussion, man, because I'm telling you, it's whack and it's corny.
Right.
He rhymed the same word for the whole verse. It's a whack verse. I don't know why y'all like it, and I keep going back and forth. I'm not standing for that, but it's not. Drake could have did a lot better, man. That was trash, B. I ain't gonna lie, it was trash.
All right, what about the second and third verse, Super Duper? What about the second and third?
The second verse, I give him credit for the second verse, and the third verse, I'm not giving him no credit for that singing. So I'm not giving him no credit.
He thought he was singing or rapping in a melodic tone.
He was draking on the track, and I just wasn't trying to go. I didn't want to hear the draking on the track. So I mean, I listened to it, but he get no credit for draking on that track, singing, wooing. He was wooing Kendrick on there. It was an instant L with that first. Like, if he would have went at Kendrick on that second verse, I would have liked the song better. But just for him, for when we looking at, listen. Read the words. Let's just read the words. Go through the lyrics. We ain't got to read the whole thing. Just read them lyrics and you tell me y'all really like that, man. Come on now.
Okay.
Before we go, we're going to pull up the lyrics. So 24 through 18, we got Machiavelli and Tupac. Against All Odds. We got Eazy-E, Real G's. We got Pac again, Bomb First. We got 50 Cent, Back Down at 21. At 20, we got Push Ups by Drake.
Whoa. There's a lot of, I don't know if people know how this works, man. The algorithm picks up on things that are recent and this and that. And I think there's a lot of recency going on this list. There's no way you could have Push Ups over Back Down for 50 Cent. Like, we're still talking about the 50 Cent and Ja Rule battle and how 50 Cent kind of, demolished Murder Inc. in the eyes of many people. The record that did that was Back Down. So I don't understand how you can even formulate an argument that Push Ups should be over Back Down as a diss record. Push Ups literally did nothing. I mean, if we look back at this battle, Push Ups did nothing. It gave us Euphoria, for lack of a better term. It gave us that record from Kendrick, but it just got Kendrick to respond. That's it. So, I mean, how could you actually put Push Ups over Back Down? Like, I don't understand that.
And Push Ups was the first mistake that Drake made in this whole battle. And I've said this on like 4 different pods. I'll say it one more time. The original Push Ups with the Get Money sample was dope. I don't know why. He had additional bars. He had a Puff diss on there. He took out. He had another couple bars at the end of the record that he took out. He's like, what do you say? They call him the backtrack gang because they say they reaching out. You know what I'm saying? And so you say you had a verse for 5 years. You either put it out or shut your mouth. Like his tone sounded different on there. He sounded too polished on the push-ups that came out. He sounded like Drake. The original push-ups, he was like, it was raw. Like, even like he said, you in the scope right now. Like, the way he said that was different on the one that he did on the second one. So I don't know why whoever advised him to switch the beat, switch his flow, re-record it, that was a bad move. If he would have kept the original Get Money joint and the way it was, that shit would still be playing in the clubs and that shit will still be remembered. But now the push-ups now is just, it's okay.
To the rappers out there, never re-record your vocals because it's never going to reach what it was the first time. It's just not. And it's not going to, and for the people who heard the first one, now, if you're going to redo your vocals, make sure no one ever heard any of the first ones, right? Because I mean, it's never going to match that intensity for people. And yeah, Family Matters is better than Push Ups.
50 Cent better watch out. He got a real gangster on his head, the lyrical beast master King Combs. You better.
That was number one on the list.
Man, it's more egregious that's over real MF and G's. Y'all remember that video? They had a video that went with that, man. Like that's a classic diss song. That's definitely in the top 20 to 15. It's definitely over push-ups.
What's going on with Elliot Wilson, man? What's going on with Elliot Wilson, man? We gotta talk to Englishman about this, man. Englishman gotta tell us what's going on.
Elliot Wilson ain't made a good list. Like we always do this to this man list. He ain't made a good list that mattered in a long time.
Dre Day only makes Easy's payday.
And Easy was the first one to put out there that Dre was supposed to be gay.
I thought that Suge put Easy was the first one, and Suge came out as it was.
Yeah, when he put the picture up.
Mm-hmm. I remember seeing that picture as a kid. Like, that can't be Dr. Dre. Can't be.
Crazy. Let's go down the list, guys. Beanie Siegel, 17, Kiss the Game Goodbye.
Empire Strikes Back, nigga.
16, Checkmate by Jada.
Checkmate's crazy. You know what? That's a good discussion. Which one's better, Checkmate or that Beanie Siegel? Put your hands up. I'm gonna give Siegel the edge.
Give Siegel the edge.
I'm giving Siegel the edge here because he's going up against Jadakiss in Jadakiss' prime peak of his hype and everything. No one at that moment. We all know that Beanie Siegel was dope. But if you ask somebody out there in the streets or whatever, like who would win in the battle, Jada or Beans, most people would probably tell you Jada. So Beans was the underdog here. He just went out there and man, he I don't want to say he demolished Jada, but it's a very memorable record. And if you hadn't heard Put Your Hands Up from Beanie Siegel, go on YouTube after this show, check that shit out. That nigga went crazy.
It's one of the first times I could say I felt like somebody truly out-rapped Jadakiss.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah, he snapped. He went in on that.
Now, Checkmate's incredible too, man. I mean, but we expected Jadakiss to out-rap 50, though. But the punchlines that Jada was hitting 50 with was crazy at that time. Like, you know, you ain't get shot again. What's your next album about?
Yeah.
Man, everything that Jadakiss said on Checkmate was crazy, man.
That's a bar right there, man.
I like Animal too. I like Animal too.
Animal's crazy. Now you want to talk about us reading some lyrics from the page? We need to read Checkmate.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't figure this nigga out. Is he from the East Coast, Midwest, or down south or something? He said like, it's like, yo.
We need to go back and revisit that. Hold on, where was it? We
didn't finish. Sorry.
Cannabis second round knockout.
What do y'all think about second round knockout being held so high in a loss? Because I'm sure
what number is this?
Highest ranked loss here.
It's 15. It's 15.
I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it.
15 all time in a loss though.
I mean,
it ain't better than real MF and G's.
And it's interesting because we're at 15 now, and I know LL's The Ripper Strikes Back is not on this list. So how does the record that actually won the battle technically not make a top 100 list, but the one that lost is like number 15? They say Cannabis didn't lose. Tell Cannabis that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I agree with you guys. I think that Second Round Knockout's the better song, but let's look at what ultimately happened. Us Cannabis fans were sitting here like, what happened? And they're saying he lost.
Man, I first off, I don't think Cannabis lost. I think Cannabis had a great record. I think in that time, it's about who sells the most records is the winner. So when you up against LL, you automatically lost because he's gonna sell the most. I think his record was fine. It wasn't the greatest record ever, but for the underground, I think it did its thing. You know what I mean? And I think going at LL is like going at a giant. It's K Dot. It's actually worse. But it's like, you know, it's LL Cool J, y'all. Like, you know what I mean? So
how can you sit there? How can you say that he won then?
I don't a winner or loser. I just think it was a fight. I don't think nobody won or lost. I just think it was a fight, and both men walked away. But
LL walked away unscathed and to the next level, and Cannabis went the other direction. We can't deny the fact that after Cannabis dropped this record, his career didn't ascend. It went the other way.
He got known as the GOAT once again after that.
Yeah.
Cannabis didn't go platinum. So when you don't go platinum, you're not going to have a place at the label at that time. Now, if you didn't go platinum. So he had to go, hey, my record didn't go platinum. I didn't do big numbers. So they're going to say, yeah, you lost.
Nah, it wasn't even just that. Like,
it's a numbers game with Cannabis and LL. I don't think it's a skill game.
LeRoy, no,
game between Cannabis and LL is strictly skill
level. He was never on L level to be playing the numbers game with him. So
you think that he was out here trying to outsell LL with second round knockout?
That was never gonna work because
no one in their right mind would have thought, yo, you drop this, you gonna outsell LL Cool J.
Because Wyclef was his producer. Wyclef was his producer. He was signed to Wyclef, and Wyclef was managing him. I don't know what the situation was, but it was never gonna outsell LL in that era. LL was in his GOAT era at the point. He was coming off of what was that album, Mr. Smith? He was coming off
he was coming off of Phenomenon.
He was coming off Phenomenon. And nobody was going to outsell LL, but he was trying to out rap LL. And one record that wasn't included on this list was Where I Belong. They on the GOAT album. That was a disc.
None of LL's songs from this era were included.
No, they weren't. It's straight.
He won. And why are we fronting on LL? Where's Mad Max at? Why are we fronting on LL like this, man? Like, LL won the battle. Whether we like it or not. I was a Cannabis fan too. You know what I'm saying? But the truth of the matter is, second round knockout didn't do anything to LL.
I was one of those guys, man. LL's out here singing the chicks. He used to be tough. Now he's soft. Man, I'm going with the hardcore, that rugged raw. I was that dude. I was, I was in middle school, nigga, that raw. So
I mean, I couldn't be mad at L. I mean, he made I Need Love early in his career. We accepted it. So, we knew what L was gonna do. He was gonna lick his lips and do his thing for the ladies. We knew what he was gonna do.
L caught another body, man. He did. Like, and I think for our era, this was probably how the OGs felt about the Kool Moe Dee and you know what I'm saying, Jack the Ripper thing. They probably was like, yo, man, this dude out-rapped him. But it didn't matter, man. LL had a different approach with it. James Smith with the super chat says, Elliot lost favor with the younger crowd when he got on different artists for going to streamers instead of rap journalists for promotion. This is how he's attempting to appease him, unfortunately. I can see that.
Yeah, it looks like a reach, man. So shout out to the OG Elliot Wilson, man. Rap journalist, we respect, we salute, but this list ain't it, man. We just gonna dissect to keep it going. But Mike, the favorite record we like, man, on the GOAT was this record's not on here. It's Where I Belong. The other night I was on Farmers politicking with some blood. I said, yo, L in the streets, you ain't getting no love. Ever since the X's and the Jiggers came out, nobody want to hear that slick shit you talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so your son Cannabis, your son played you out.
Why you ain't answer back correctly? What the fuck was that about? You know what I mean?
Look on some Henny and explain some things of a life of a Don and all the drama it brings.
And then listen,
man.
Nah, I'm fine.
In the basement, he did that Eat Plubus is the album on my drop. I'll make it as hard as rocks getting hit to the Glock. Pretend it's hard. Oh,
y'all know LeRoy got to get wild once or twice a show, man.
But I get it. I do hear people say this, Super Duper. They say that Cannabis won, and my question would be for all of us out here, how?
Because he made it to where like lyrical guys, they got their point across. Now in the mainstream is one thing, but in the underground, we was like, yeah, he made his point, He made it.
Wasn't strong enough. You know what I mean? The underground wasn't strong enough to lift up Cannabis to a victory. It is what it is.
In this era, if Cannabis and LL battled in this era with the internet, with TikTok and YouTube, and Cannabis would have won. Easy.
This battle might have turned out different in the internet era. Now, I will say that. Mad Max is in the building. I want to hear what he got to say. He says, LOL. LL suffers from the Drake thing still, Mike. LL bodied a lot of cats. He ended Modi and cannabis. LL's top 5 ever, Mike. I'm always repping my son. I'm with you, man. Like, you know, I don't think he's top 5, but he needs his flowers. Brian G with the super chat says, evidence from dilated pupils watched Eminem on Search for Bobby Fischer diss song. How come that didn't make the list?
Because it's evidence.
No song against Eminem is going to make the list. Benzino's song didn't make the list. That should be on the list.
Right.
Hey, you know what else? You know what else should have made the list? I put this in the chat earlier, but Choice song when she dissed Too Short, NWA, Ghetto Boys, that should have made the list, man. She was a female going at them hardcore cats. That should have made the list.
That's a good pick. I forgot all about that.
Forgot about that one. You know, it's Elliot Wilson, it's algorithm list, man, or the
let's finish the list up. So where were we at? We at 17. Where we at?
15.
Okay, we got Boogie Down Productions, The Bridge Is Over. That should have been a little bit higher, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, Euphoria. I'm sorry, man. Euphoria was cool, but I got 616 from LA. In LA better than
time out. They got Euphoria over The Bridge Is Over. Man, they gotta stop this nonsense, man. They gotta stop that. Now, New York, stand up for real, man. Like, they got Euphoria that came out 2 weeks ago. Over The Bridge Is Over.
We got Euphoria over with The Bridge Is Over. You know, we got in London. We like Euphoria.
No. I ain't even gonna put this on Elliot, man. Elliot, man, you are an established journalist who's from New York City, I believe.
Euphoria.
And was around through all of this. This can't be you. This has to be some other people pulling the strings back over there at HipHopDX, man. Y'all gotta holler at us, man.
Euphoria. I think it's Euphoria is better than.
I need to know how The Bridge Is Over falls behind a fucking song that came out 2 weeks ago that didn't even really affect the battle extremely. Like, this is insane.
People still hurt over The Bridge Is Over.
Yeah, man.
It's a bloody jam, Mike.
Down Queensbridge for damn near a decade.
It's a bloody jam, Mike. It's a bloody jam, Mike. It's a bloody jam.
Oh my God, man. People might not be from the States to understand. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. The overhyping of Kendrick, though, and I think Kendrick's a very talented MC, but when you start overhyping people like that, man, like, it's gonna come back to bite them. See Alicia Keys.
Right. I'm a number one battle song for the last when we're done. My number one battle song. But I don't think it's overhyped. I think K-Dot earned it, man. I think he just earned it.
Kendrick's overhyped in so many ways. Now, he's earned a lot of things, but he's also overhyped as well. Eminem is seeing the results of what happens when people overhype you over a duration of time. And he just put out an ad in Detroit's paper a couple days ago in the obituary section. I guess it's like the death of Slim Shady. No one cares. Like, it really does. It's not even making real news. But that's because they've overhyped him over this time. And I think that eventually they keep doing this to Kendrick. They're doing him a disservice because he's going to have music, not just diss records. And he delivered the diss records. I give him credit on that. He's going to have an album that actually delivers all of this stuff that they're building him up to be.
But who does what Kendrick does? Like, I don't know if I seen that guy, but now I've seen him in my lifetime. But I'm older than this generation, so I've seen Razkaz. This generation, Blasphemy was a classic album. Who is Razkaz of this era? It would have to be probably K-Dot.
He's a dope lyricist, but and to be a lyricist on the West Coast like that, yeah, I could see that. Man. But like I'm saying, man, when you put a record that this man put out 3 weeks ago over The Bridge Is Over.
Yeah, okay.
Like, come on, man, cut the shit. Now, that's just disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's disrespectful.
That's disrespectful.
It's recency bias. It's disrespectful. And I just want to ask Super Duper one quick question. Mike, I asked you the same question. LeRoy, I asked you the same question. When you jump in your car, and you go to work or you just ride, what type of records are you playing?
For me, man, my radio stay on Mobb Deep, Prodigy, Too Short, Scarface, you know, that pretty much that style of music. That's still my style of music.
Okay, so you know, normally you go to the barbershop, Mike. You go to the barbershop. Shout out to my dude Tone. He used to cut our hair for a long time.
Shout out to Tone.
When you go to the barbershop, what type of records are y'all hearing in the barbershop?
Barbershop.
Y'all hearing like Nas, Jay. Y'all hearing what y'all hearing in the bar? Outkast, if you're in the South. I'm trying to make a point here. You go to the barbecue, you know, summertime's coming up. You know, the weather's about to change. You know, summertime gonna be looking nice. You know, then we playing the Will Smith record.
Right.
I go to a lot of barbecues, a lot of parties, graduations. What records are y'all hearing?
I think the barbershop and the barbecue would hurt a lot of y'all feelings, because if you went to the barbershop or the barbecue, you would find out a lot of stuff y'all think is popping ain't popping at the barbecue.
But I'm trying to make a larger point, but I'll do that on another show.
Well, this is what I'll say. I heard a children's story, Slick Rick, when I just, jumped in the whip or whatever. You hear jams like that, Troy, Pete Rock, CL Smooth. Yeah. And if you want to talk about like the early 2000s era things, you hear Jay-Z's Give It To Me. You know what I'm saying? You'll hear In the Club. These are like mainstays in the culture. I will say that.
Okay. Yeah, I go to cookout still here because I go outside. Yeah, you don't know nothing about that.
I mean, you gonna hear 50. I'm gonna say that for another show, but I'm doing an experiment here, guys. Hope you guys know where I'm going with this. Super Duper, you might know where I'm going with this. Mike, you know where I'm going with this. You just don't hear this music, man.
You ain't hearing no Kendrick.
You just not, man.
But you know who else you're not hearing, Ron?
People not being honest, man.
You're not hearing no Kendrick. You're not hearing no J. Cole either.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
King's Disease. Do y'all hear King's Disease at the cookout? Let me know.
Is that what we're doing? Mom is that I got legit angry when I seen The Bridge Is Over wasn't top 5. That's criminal. That song changed rap battles going forward, straight up. And to me, obviously we know these lists are going to be bogus anyway. All the pandering and and all of the things that people have to fulfill, where they feel like they want to get every generation in tune with their countdown. But certain things come across as you're trying to rewrite history. And I think when you put Boogie Down Productions' The Bridge Is Over behind Euphoria that came out 3 weeks ago, you're attempting to change the narrative. And I think that even though Kendrick showed up in this battle, showed up and showed out, to say that he dropped 3 top 20 diss records of all time is fucking crazy.
I think
overrating somebody. It really is. Like, come on, man.
I think Elliot and HipHopDX, they got overzealous. They should have did like a top 20, top 25 list. Mm-hmm. And they really should have thought about it a little bit more and really honed in on what were the top 25 diss records. Maybe we should do it. Maybe we should do it at A2HH, but we should really focus on the 25 and narrow some things out, because this Euphoria ain't no top 10 or top 20 diss record, man.
What they're telling us is over the past 3 weeks, this man has dropped 3 of the 20 greatest diss records of all time. And we can't even quantify that at this point because it hasn't been long enough for us to even see the overall impact of it. Like something like The Bridge Is Over, man, we have 30 plus years of data to show what this record really is. We got 2 weeks of Euphoria. Are you serious, man?
By the 4th of July, nobody will be listening to them songs again.
Right. Especially Euphoria. Euphoria does not have that replay value. I would say they not like us.
They not
replay value. I can see that.
Yeah.
Euphoria ain't got that. I haven't listened to Euphoria since it dropped, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I still like it though. I mean, I like it still. So I'm not gonna, I ain't gonna say like I'm not listening to it no more, but it's nothing that I know it's not going to have a long-lasting value for me. I just know that.
It doesn't have those lines. It doesn't have that beat. Like The Bridge Is Over got the hook with it, got the beat with. Like when you hear that track, you know what that is.
Right.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says they had Euphoria over what? Over who? The teacher? This is disrespectful. Elliot better not ever see you uptown, gang. I'm slapping the ish out of you. You see what I mean? That's how people feel. I want to hear what KRS got to say about this because KRS held to
if
the
they got
highest for his battling. You know what I mean? Like KRS is the battler, right? Like he's the face of rap battles, and this record is why. You're diminishing that by putting the bridges over this far back.
If they got the Drake songs up there so high, then what you expect for them to do with the Kendrick songs? You know,
right? Hey, he got 300 bars right after that, though. He came back with the game, 300 bars.
Y'all know I fuck with the game and his battle, you know what I'm saying, prowess, but that's too high too. Like 300 bars to run, this should not be over the bridge, it's over.
G-Unit's everything took a nosedive. That's the whole clique. That's 50. That's Lloyd. That's Banks. That's whoever else was riding with him. I think Mace might have been, G-Unit was riding.
I like how you tried to stretch out Lloyd and Banks like they two different people.
Right. He tried to separate.
Yeah, you tried to stretch out like he killed more people than he did. I got you.
No, I love Banks. No, Banks my dude. Like, but Banks and Yayo, but the whole clique though, and that shouldn't have happened. Like one guy take the whole clique, that shouldn't have happened. They should have mobbed together back on game. But
nobody goes against the game, man. I already articulated that for whatever reason.
They got game. And speaking of game, they got game mad high. Number 12, 300 bars and running. Number 11, Dr. Dre, featuring Snoop Dogg. F with Dre Day. Yeah, I mean, you know
what? I think F with Dre Day being 11 is a very interesting pick because that's such a dope song and a dope start off to an album. It's a diss record, but when I hear the song, I don't think diss record first. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a jamming ass song. And clearly it's a diss record, but it doesn't feel like a diss record, if that makes any sense.
I feel that way about
another Dr. Dre record from that time period is great.
I feel that same way about Dollars and Cents when you hear it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a sneaky diss record. I mean, it's in your face, but it's like you sitting here jamming to it because it's the first song on the Chronic, really. You know what I mean? And I like it being at 11. Is it too high?
It might be a little too high. It might be top 25. I think we should really narrow it down and do like 25 records.
I ain't mad at it.
But I won't get upset. Let's go to the next.
Well, let's face the elephant in the room, and a lot of people are saying it in the chat, and we've said this on lists before. How much Interscope representation is really on here? Jeez.
I don't know. I think my man from HipHopDX is in the chat, man. We got to ask him, man. He's in the chat. Well, shout out.
We got HipHopDX in the chat. I got questions.
I think so. My man ain't here. Critical Mass. I think that's him. I think he's
Critical Mass. I didn't know Critical Mass was in HipHopDX. Yeah, I mean, I want to bring him on.
Come on through. Come on down.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just putting pieces together. It might be him. You know what I mean? But
no, that's cool. I got questions. I got hip hop questions. Let's get to the top 10.
No. Okay. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. 10 through 9. Number 10. Come on, man. Let's be.
Please.
Let's be for real.
Oh, please. Once again. Man.
I wish Critical Mass will hop on, man. If you really homeboy from HipHopDX, man, explain this, man. Come on, man. How could y'all publish this, man? Come on, man. For real. Let's be for real.
You're trolling. Critical Mass ain't with HipHopDX, is he?
I don't know, man. I think he got offended. I was doing a British accent. He said, "I'm the
man." But ain't these the same people that put Kendrick over at number 2 or over? Ain't these the same people?
Billboard. Yeah, that was Billboard. Still mainstream media though. But okay, all right. Let's address this like that being a top 10 diss record all time. Well, first of all, I think it's just my personal opinion. I think unless there was an incredible splash that was made, I don't think that a record that is less than 2 months old could be a top 10 diss record all time in these 50 years of hip hop, 40 years of recording record of hip hop, if you want to be technical. But I mean, we're talking about something that's 2 months old, and we're also talking about a subliminal shot from one verse of this whole song. what they're doing right now, and if this list stays, and we're in the digital era, I guess they can go back and delete this. It's not like they printed it out like in the magazine era. But what they're doing right now is they're really elevating Drake, because all of these records that are aimed at him seem to be ranked very high.
Yep.
And it makes it look like, you're putting the fact that this record was about Drake over the impact of something like The Bridge Is Over. And I'm going to keep saying The Bridge Is Over, because it being that far back is egregious. You got Like That over The Bridge Is Over as a diss record? What the fuck are we doing?
He's a prisoner of the moment, like prisoner of the moment.
It's pandering at its finest, like the last Super Chat said. The Super Chat summed it up perfectly when he said that they going after their young fan base, and they probably assume that a lot of their fan base or the young fan base won't even know what a song like The Bridge Is Over anyway.
I think what happens though in media, and I think about this too, even the way that producer bracket was set up, which we're getting to the final ones. You feel like if you just go too old school on people, sometimes it'll tune out a certain audience. But what people got to understand is the young people know what great hip hop is too. We are in the streaming era where people do have the ability to stream whatever music they like. Now, you don't want to get into that corner where anything old is just the greatest and anything new has to get to the back burner. But you also don't want to get in a space where you're just propelling something that came out 3 weeks ago over something that has stood the test of 3 decades. Like,
Kendrick
come on,
heart, man. Kendrick got heart. A lot of these rappers, they ain't got no heart, man. Y'all just
Kendrick beat KRS-One in the battle, because that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Elliot Wilson and HipHopDX believe.
Man, Kendrick couldn't beat Cannabis in the battle. Kendrick couldn't beat LL in the battle. Kendrick couldn't beat.
Ain't got no heart.
He couldn't beat KRS-One in the battle. He really couldn't beat Prime Hove in the battle. He couldn't beat Prime Nas in the battle. Let's be for real. I don't know. And guess what? Guess what? I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, Mike. You know what I'm about to say. Kendrick really couldn't beat the game in the battle if you want to keep it a buck.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with you saying that. I thought you were gonna bring up J. Cole, man.
Like, he can't beat the game, and bar for bar, he can't see game on a battle. And that's just for real, man. And people in the chat gonna roast me, but I'm gonna keep it honest, man.
You can't write 400 bars. If you can't write 400 bars, you can't beat the game. It's lyrical endurance. So how many bars? Game could probably rap for the next 60 minutes straight. So if you ain't got that type of endurance, then no, you're not built for that.
Based on the list that I'm seeing here, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. If HipHopDX did a list of the top 10 battle rappers in hip hop history on wax, and I'm not counting the battle rap scene, I'm talking about the guys with record deals, and you know what I'm talking about. Mainstream rappers. Sounds like they would put Kendrick at number 1. Based off this battle alone. I mean, he does have 3 diss records that are in the top 20. Why wouldn't he be number 1?
You remember what I said about why the song that wasn't on the list at all, that I think is a diss track when we was talking off air, Mike?
What was that? Refresh my memory.
I said some rappers, they got heart, man. The rappers now, they ain't got no heart. The diss record, where is Nipsey Hussle? FDT, okay? Where's that type of energy? Y'all got all this energy for other rappers. You have no energy for no presidents. Any presidents, y'all have no energy. Kendrick got heart, even though he ain't dissing presidents. But that's why people respect Nipsey too, because Nipsey had heart. Nipsey gonna go at the top guy, the president. Y'all don't want to go there. Y'all ain't got that type of heart. There is no rap used to be like that. It used to be a weapon of a socio-political weapon that energized a bunch of different dimensions. Y'all ain't got that type of heart, and that's why Kendrick is getting the look that 99% of rappers don't get that look, because he's touching these different undertones. Just like Nipsey, he went at the top guy. Who's going at the president? Y'all want to go at other rappers. That's cool.
Ball 7 with the super chat says, I don't know why Against All Odds isn't higher. Pac went off on that record. It's better than Hit 'Em Up, and his energy, voice, delivery on there was GOAT-like. We're going to get to Hit 'Em Up, because I got problems with, I think Hit 'Em Up should rank high, but we'll talk about it.
Let's talk about this Lost One situation at 9. I don't quite. Is that even a diss record?
Yes, it is. She did some Wyclef. What you talking about?
Again, I like I said, I love Lost Ones as a record. And I think she was just airing out a lot of things, and it's a very, very dope record, incredible record. But I do think that if you're going subliminal, I think you're kind of disqualified for being this high. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just a great record when she was talking about the things that were going on with her at the time. Did it destroy Clef? I guess it could be argued. But, I mean, we got to look at who the competitor is, right? And you got to look at what it did to the competitor. And I don't think those things are super high on this, on this list.
And this shit, it sounds stupid to say this over real motherfucking G's and Dre Day. Does this sound crazy, man?
And the bridge is over.
Hey, but Lauryn Hill though, right after Lost Ones, you get an album that went diamond.
Man, stop trying to justify this.
Hey, I heard Lost Ones.
Would anybody tell somebody that Lost Ones is a better diss record than 50 Cent's Back Down?
I wouldn't.
Would anybody ever say, like, we talk about barbershops?
I think
that up in the barbershop and see what anybody's gonna say there. Like, I want somebody to go in there and say, man, it's a diss record, dog. Man, Lord, he was lost.
I mean, if you go to a barbershop, you go to a barbershop in Milwaukee, Chicago, LA, Miami, New York, Brooklyn, Harlem, DC, and say, give me your top 5 or top 10 diss records. You ain't nobody's gonna. I would rage it. Maybe nobody would say Lost One.
I bet nobody in the chat even probably knew it was a diss song.
Musically, I think it's better than Back Down. I think Back Down is real beef. We're thinking it's rap beef. No, 50 and Ja was really trying to kill each other.
We're talking about two different things, bro. I think that Lost One's a better song. Yes,
it's a better song.
It's a better song. Is it a better diss record? No, it's not.
Diss record. No, it's not a diss. This record. Let's go down the list real quick. We almost done. Number 8 through 7. We got the B and U. Common, number 8.
Shout out to Pete Rock producing that. I never was as big on the Bitch and You as other people were. I thought that, it was very. I mean, I think Common showed a lot of heart by going to somebody like Ice Cube, somebody as big as Cube at the time. Even though I don't feel like Cube was at the peak of his music talents anymore. I think he was more in the movies during this time period. But, somebody say something about you, you got to respond. And I think Common responded properly. But I just never held the record as high as people do. It's not a better record or diss record than Dre Day to me. It's not.
Or Dollars and Cents.
Nah, it's not.
Yeah. Well, I think like when we look at the K-Dot and Drake situation, we look at who K-Dot is going at, and we're like, that elevates the records that Kendrick does. So with Common going at Ice Cube back at this time, we're looking at Ice Cube like, well, Ice Cube was the 50 Cent of that time. So it looks crazy that Common would even go there, No,
that's real.
Man, I think, Common, he got an L with it, but like I said, man, before Ice Cube didn't even attempt to respond to it, and the beef got squashed before it even got anywhere, really. So, right. I mean, it's a good song, but come on, man, that's way too high for it.
Yeah, it is. It is, and I love all parties involved, but yeah, I mean, just being objective. Somebody asks you like, "Yo, top 10 diss records all time." I don't think many people are gonna be naming the Bitch and You like that.
I can see that. What's the next one?
What's the next one? We had No Vaseline by Ice Cube.
Whoa.
Haymaker.
East Coast bias.
Hey, do we even got to finish the list after this now? Hey, do we even got to finish?
We got 6 more. We got 6 more Super Dupers. 6 more.
There aren't 6 diss records better than No Vaseline. They just aren't. And if we want to sit here and hold NWA as high as we should, as one of the most important, if not the most important hip hop group of all time for what they changed in the game, like this guy dismantled NWA. All the people that are held so high, the Dr. Dre of everybody got it. Dr. Dre got it. Eazy-E got it. MC Ren got it. Jerry Heller got it. And it's on a classic album, too, at the very end.
Even this Yellow.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Everyone got it.
Everyone got it. And at the time, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, I don't know if there was a diss record that went at multiple people in this fashion before No Vaseline.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be right.
I mean, hey, like I said, choice, man. Choice with the big payback.
Yeah, man. No Vaseline to me is number one, actually. That's just my opinion. Mad Max in the Super Chat says he put that dot diss over No Vaseline. We dead ass. Right. All right, what's next?
What's next? What's next? Shout out to Mad Max. Paul
7 says No Vaseline is number one, no debate. Straight up. No.
What's next? Let's go to this list. So what are we at? 8 and 7.
We're at 7. No Vaseline was 7, which is crazy.
Number 6, the story of Adidon.
Story of Adidon. Again, elevating Drake.
Yeah.
This is what this looks like. This looks like, okay, you're gonna elevate Kendrick just for him being Kendrick. But any record that's directed at Drake, it's gonna rank high. That's what this looks like. There's no way in the world Story of Adidon is better than No Vaseline. And I'm a Pusha T fan. Me and this dude share a birthday and all that. Shout out to Pusha T. Happy belated, brother. But yeah, no way. Now, the biggest thing about Story of Adidon, the strongest thing there, to me, was the blackface. I give Pusha T that. His research was impeccable.
It's what Drake represents to the culture. And it's not Drake's fault, because I don't think Drake has no malice against the culture. But it's what he represents. The guy who's coming in the door with 100 hits, who's going to galvanize everything and take every style and do everything cool and throw a wave over the entire black culture.
LeRoy, are you doing all this talking right now to justify this over No Vaseline?
No, hell no. Hell no.
Okay. All right. I just was wondering. I was just wondering who you was arguing with right now.
When we look at Drake,
my thing, man.
But
people really, and I'm not a Drake fan. I know y'all gonna say I'm caping for Drake, but do people really hate this man this much?
Yes, they hate him. Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like they hate this man this much.
Yes,
to elevate anything that's directed at him. Now, somebody said that Joe Budden's diss records towards Drake didn't make it, but I think they try to make it seem like those records didn't exist because they were independent records. Now, Meek Mill's trash record actually made this list, and it shouldn't be on there.
I think people do hate Drake. I mean, they're not gonna say it, but I remember when Drake first came out, I'm like, hey, this guy Drake, he pretty good. You know, I'm listening to the melodies and all that. They like, nah, get that shit out of here. Like they're like, people was like, hell no. Nah. Like I'm like, damn, like he's that bad. They're like, he sucks. I'm like, all right, that's it.
I mean, Story of Adidon being over No Vaseline, it just lets you know. Like,
yeah, man.
So what we got? We got number 5. We have 5, right? We have five. Let me find 5. 5 and 4.
Right? Yeah.
The takeover 5. Number 4, Drake back to back.
Wow.
Okay. Brave Dave. Shout out to Brave Dave. He says, sorry, but No Vaseline had no replay value after 1993. Neither did Dre or Easy. We're done.
I don't know about that, but okay.
That guy sounds like he was born in 2020.
Brave Dave, when were you born? Just to get super duper.
99.
And shout out to Brave Dave. I ain't seen Brave Dave in here before. Is he new?
He had to be born in like 98, 99, man.
Welcome to the tribe, Brave Dave. Mad Max in the super chat says, we get it, Drake, but Mike, the few people that get at Busta but actually issuing on Black Americans, Drake never went as far as Busta did. You hate Drizzy. Yeah.
Let me try to clarify for Busta, and I'm still going to be wrong because granted, I'm trying to clarify for another guy's words, right? So ultimately, I'm going to lose anyway. I don't think Busta is saying Black folks have no culture. I think what he was saying is a lot of what y'all think is your culture was just American culture. Like getting money, getting women, getting cars, getting jewelry. Like that's actually American culture. Like it's not just to us. Like it's not just ours. Like getting money is just a American.
LeRoy.
So
He said we have no culture.
I think Buster knows that black people have a culture. Like he I don't think he lives under a rock, you know.
Well, he should know because he made a whole career off of Black American culture. So you would think he would. But
Busta Rhymes suffer from talking too much.
Well, see, this is my problem too. Just like my problem with Fat Joe. You have plenty of time to clarify, but you don't. Whenever you get put in a position where you can sit there and just say, you know, I didn't mean it like that, you double down. That's what they do.
That's the point.
And that's my biggest problem. But hey, I give Busta an opportunity, man, because I'm a fan. And you know, I'm a fan of his work and what he's done in his career.
We touched on Busta. We touched on Busta last show, and the chat roasted me. They said I said what I think you might agree with, Mike, that his music is dope. I'm not knocking Busta's music. I'm not saying it's not dope, but from a replay perspective, it didn't age that well. Like the stuff he did with Swiss, it just didn't sound good in 2024. It just doesn't. It's not something you're gonna get in your whip and just like, I need to listen to Tear the Roof Off or that doom 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 doom, and that stuff on Extinction Level Event. You're not gonna. I mean, you just not.
You have to be a fan of it. I think Busta made music for the times. I think if you are into the bully foot rap, as I am, I listen to the Sean Prices of the world, the Redmans, the Method Mans. If you're into that kind of rap, you're gonna listen to Busta rhyming, you know, no pun intended, in that way. But as far as the common hip hop fan who's listening for, you know, a perspective or originality or whatever, or just, you know, just artist culturally, he might not be the guy for you because the crossover stuff that he made or the stuff he made for the radio was stuff for the times.
I think Busta made music for 2030, and I don't think we caught up to where he was at. I think he came from the future.
He was doing that. I agree with that. I think that was, you're talking more so about when disaster strikes. Now that shit was ahead of the curve.
I think Busta came from the future and went back to the 90s, and we trying to catch up. I think he might be from 2030 or 2040. Because when I listen to that stuff, just when disaster strikes, LEE, They Ain't Safe No More, Anarchy, Genesis. When that shit sounds like it's from the future. I don't know where he got that from, you know. But hey.
I put my name on it last show, and I said Busta is in my top 5 most overrated rappers. He in my top 5 most overrated.
What makes you say that, Super Duper?
Dungeon Dragon?
I'm not a fan of his music like that. I mean, he got some hits. His hits he got some cool hits. But to listen to an album of Busta Rhymes is like, I just can't imagine doing that. Like I just can't imagine. I used to like Busta when I was younger, but as I got older, I just thought the same knock that we got for Kendrick with the theatrics and the yelling and hollering. I don't want nobody yelling and hollering at me for a whole album, man.
We love Ghost. We love Ghost though. He's yelling, hollering, screaming, jumping around.
No, he's not. You can't compare that to. You can't. No. Come on, man. No.
Hey, I was an Onyx head. Like I said, I brought up Onyx. So all that yelling you doing, I'm all right with it. You know.
Dave Dave with Super Chat says No Vaseline was dope, but Cube wasn't king of the West by '94, and Easy had Bone Thugs. That's all.
Cube was.
What is this guy talking about?
'94. No Vaseline was '92.
Who was a better rapper than Ice Cube, even in '94 from the West?
I'll wait.
Hold on. Death Certificate might have even been '91. Hold on.
91.
92, I think it was
you're looking at this differently, you know, because I know the Chronic was December of '92.
Even the fall off.
Yeah, Death Certificate was '91. So yeah, when No Vaseline dropped, he was the guy.
Yeah. Even the fall off. People say, oh, he fell off in the mid-90s. They must not have heard of a West Side Connection, because if they heard of West Side Connection, I don't see no fall off, brother.
Yeah, Bow Down was heavy. And when he put out No Vaseline, he was the man out here. So Yeah, and in revisionist history, NWA was still together, so there was no Chronic, no Death Row, or any of that. Those guys were still together, and so yeah, I mean, he broke that up. The reason why we did get the Chronic and Doggy Style partly is through No Vaseline. Now I'm sure they would have broken up anyway, but you know,
crazy.
it sped up the process.
Crazy. Where we at? We just did 5 and 4.
We didn't even speak on 5 and 4. Takeover's 5.
Okay.
I think Takeover is an excellent record, but again, you can't really have a record that high that didn't win the battle.
How could it win? It was the first song. How you win with the first song?
Well, it shouldn't be ranked that high. I mean, there's too many of these records that actually won the battle that should be over it. I mean, I think that it was a great setup record or whatever, but you have to take in consideration that this wasn't the closer. So you can't have the closer this high.
I like the beat. So
love the beat. Kanye West did his thing. I think the beat's better than Ether. I think as a standalone song, in my personal opinion, I'd listen to Takeover before I listen to Ether. But truth of the matter is, Takeover is just ranked this high because Jay-Z made it. Let's just be honest.
All right.
You know that, Wilson.
But Jay was the guy in 2001. I mean, who else? If it wasn't Jay, it would have to be Eminem, and we're not looking at M like that. So, I mean, I like the sample. I think it was a clean record. Like, he wasn't trying to kill nobody. He was just saying, basically, look, I think I'm better than y'all. I think I'm better.
Now that I will give Takeover.
Y'all. That's all.
Takeover changed Mobb Deep forever, and Mobb Deep is a staple in New York hip hop. And in hip hop in general. So if there's an argument made that Takeover changed Mobb Deep forever, I'm okay with that. Still shouldn't be at 5 though.
It took a while for Prodigy to shake that off because that infamy record. I mean, it's nice, but you can hear the anger all in Prodigy voice from what Jay had to say about him through that, at least until Return to the Mac drop.
Prodigy's rhymes stopped rhyming. Like, he started just rhyming, but the actual rhymes didn't even rhyme. So he kind of took himself to a place before Takeover because Prodigy stopped rhyming even. Like, he had several bars that didn't rhyme.
I mean, he really just wanted to really get at Jay though.
Let me ask you, Super Duper Mike and LeRoy. I know it might be subliminal, but was Keep It Thorough really a diss record? Could it be technically?
I mean, based on what they got ranked here, yes, of course.
Every deep song is a diss record.
I thought Keep It Thorough. When Keep It Thorough first came out, they were saying that it was about Jay.
It was subliminal in there because when Jay-Z nephew or whatever crashed the whip, they said he was bumping Keep It Thorough. So that was
crazy.
part of the bar.
I've never heard that. That's crazy. That's insane. Good. Matt Max of the Super Chat says, I agree with Super Duper, but Busta has a great voice. Dot has all-time trash voice. Busta is Kendrick if Dot actually had a good voice. I do think that Busta has a great rap voice, though.
When Kendrick get in his smooth voice, though, he ain't that bad. Like just say on the 616 in LA, he not bad on that. Or even They Not Like Us. When he rapping like that and he not going too crazy with the antics, he all right.
Mad Max of the Super Chat says Takeover ended the battle with Prodigy, though. Sure did. Yep, we acknowledge that. It should be high, but it didn't win the ultimate battle. Mad Max says, wait, where is Drop a Gem on him? Right.
I don't think it made the list.
Mad Max talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get to number. So number what was
back
number?
To back to back is the number 4 diss record of all time. I don't agree with that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't know if back to back is better than back to back was hard. I don't know if it's better. Once again, I like Duppy Freestyle better than back to back. That's just me.
This is where your competitor comes into play. You can't have a number 4 diss record all time and the person you're going against is Meek Mill. I'm not saying that to be funny, but yes, when we're talking top 10 stuff, you either had to have taken down a whole borough like KRS-One did with The Bridge Is Over, or you're going at somebody like a Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie. I mean, I'll even give Common credit on that. You got Ice Cube over here, NWA. But yeah, you can't have a number 4 diss record all time when you're coming at Meek Mill. You just can't.
Let me ask y'all something. Since one of the chat guys said this, when was the last time you listened to Back to Back?
It's been a long time.
I listened to it last week because I was preparing for the show.
That's research listening. That's not the same.
I still listen to No Vaseline more than I would listen to a Back to Back, though.
Of course.
Sure, yeah.
You know, this is the thing, man. And this, y'all gonna think I'm caping for the game. I do want a game interview. I'm gonna just put it out there. Okay. Pest Control by The Game going at Meek Mill is way harder than Back to Back. It's not even on this list. So, not saying that Back to Back shouldn't be on this list, but if there's another person that has a diss record against the same person that you did that was harder than yours, there's no way your shit should be number 4. There's no way. There's no way.
The Game had one before Pest Control. He put out 2 disses on Meek. I forgot what the one before Pest Control was called, but it was crazy.
The Game is the most feared rapper in the rap game when it comes to this battle shit. That's stuff that they talk about Eminem about. It's really real with The Game. Like this whole, nobody wanted with him in your career.
It's something called Kendrick. They call Kendrick the boogeyman.
No, The Game's the real boogeyman out here.
92 bars. Yeah, somebody in the chat. That's what it was called. 92 bars. He went crazy, bro.
Y'all was talking about this earlier. I think people don't want it with The Game because they know Game really might pull up on them too. Game ain't gonna just keep it on wax, man. Like
he can do that though. He's already proven that he can keep it on wax too.
I mean, Game was pulling up on 50. You know what I mean? Like, so, he ain't gonna just keep it on wax, and I think that's what they really more worried about. Like, Game really about that. You know what I'm saying?
I think
somebody said they think Eminem might go a Game on his new album. Yeah, right.
Any diss in LA, it might get a little sticky. So you playing with Game or Kendrick, anyone from LA or Compton, it might get a little sticky. But The Game, he's capable of keeping it on wax. So
they scared of Game for real, not just with rapping.
I think it's a little twofold. I think it's both.
Okay, yeah.
Crazy. Let's get to number 3. Number 2. Number 3, Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. Number 2.
This came out last week.
It's
Listen. What is today? Today is Wednesday. They Not Like Us came out last Saturday. So it's a week and a half old. You guys were on a live when all of us were on a live when They Not Like Us actually came out, and now it's the number 3 diss record all time.
According to Elliot Wilson and HipHopDX. Let's preface that this is not our list.
Right.
We didn't put this together. We're not taking responsibility for this. This is Elliot Wilson, the OG journalist of hip hop, HipHopDX. They put their name on this.
This song is so new, we don't even know if the battle's really over. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't even know if Kendrick has actually won. I think a lot of people have come to that conclusion, but we really don't know. Not enough time has passed. So at this point, this can't even be a top 25 diss record because the story's not over.
I agree.
Now, I think ultimately, if let's just say hypothetically this thing is over and this ends up being the song that actually did it, then yeah, I think over a course of time we could say, yeah, this could be a top 10 diss record because it was that moment in this big moment with these 2 giants in hip hop. So I could see it being there eventually, but not a week and a half in.
Right. What they should have done, they should have did the top 25 diss records of all time, wrote a paragraph about the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef and The Game and Rick Ross going back and forth and Drake going at all these folks, and excluded those other records and just had 25 records before this beef that was, the top 25 diss records in hip hop. I think 100 records is the wrong move, and including these new records that's only like a couple weeks old, I think that doesn't make any sense, man.
They Not Like Us, I can tell you right now, is not a better record than No Vaseline.
No.
I wonder if we're gonna be listening to They Not Like Us in like 5 years. I don't know.
And let's break down, and like Super Duper was talking about, if you want to just go lyric for lyric, like just the way that Ice Cube delivered his lyrics and the way that he just picked apart these individuals from Dre to, and I think MC Ren actually got it the worst, to Ren, to Yella, to Easy, to Jerry Heller. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny or whatever, but Kendrick was just like, calling dude a pedo and all that, whatever. Like that's whatever. That's between what he knows and whatever. But lyrically, I can't say that he did a better job than what Cube did on a song like a No Vaseline or something. Like,
no.
Man, this is hip hop blasphemy right now.
It is, man. It really is, man. And the OGs, this is why people like, and not even saying the individuals that I'm speaking about, but us hip hop fans. That's why we go so hard for our icons, because if you don't, they'll push somebody like KRS-One to the back of the line in this rap battle shit and elevate somebody who just started literally rapping. I mean, literally start battle rapping on Wax last month.
All right.
This list sound like a bunch of 21-year-olds made it. And they put the OG songs in just because, they in high regard. They wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like you wasn't there. So
Elliot was there.
Elliot had some interns make this list.
It was made, this list, if we're reading it right, it was made by Elliot Wilson, who's 53 years old.
I'm sorry, Michael Brown. Yes, I did leave out that last verse that Kendrick had on They Not Like Us. The Atlanta verse was very impressive. I will say that. Yeah.
Just the energy that Cube and KRS would come with on a track. You know what I mean? The energy Cube would rap with against NWA. It sounded like a loose cannon. Like it just, you can't get that again, man. Just the veracity in which Cube would rap is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Max says they're buying Spotify spots for Doc songs. Not all that.
Not only that, though, when it comes to No Vaseline, it's like how we playing the Lie Police for Kendrick Lamar. We playing the Lie Police. Everything Cube said was down there basically true.
Yeah, and we saw it.
What's number one? What they got at one?
No, we skip Ether.
Okay.
It's number 2.
No, it's Hit 'Em Up.
Hit 'Em Up.
I think, all things considered, like I said, I'm with No Vaseline being the most lethal diss record I've ever heard. But if we're doing a list, we're doing a countdown, I think that Ether should be number 1. I think all things considered.
Over No Vaseline?
Over
No Vaseline, Mike? Come on, man.
Because lyrically, Jay-Z's stronger than Dr. Dre, MC Ren, and Eazy-E. Not to mention that he was writing for those guys. So it's like you got the writer going against the guys that he was writing for. So it's a little different when you got Nas over here who's coming off of his weakest effort at that time. Difficult times in his life or whatever, personal shit, that's whatever. He's the underdog in this situation. And you got the guy who is really, a top 5 lyricist in his own right, who's at the peak of his career and rising. And he's coming at you full force. And he has the machine on your ass too. And for him to come out victorious on this, I think Ether deserves to be the greatest hip hop diss record of all time. And not only that, the records that he made surrounding that match that level of energy too. Ether is just the sun in that whole universe of those, Stillmatic intro, not Stillmatic intro, Stillmatic freestyle, the Last Real Nigga Alive stuff, and even Made You Look, there was some shots in there, but he was just on a rampage, and Ether is just the nucleus of all of that. And I mean, you don't get no tougher of a competitor than Jay-Z, man. Like, Jay-Z's the top 3 guy all time. And to beat him straight up when you're
In
at your
the
lowest, he's at his highest, Ether is very strong.
I think in 2001, Jay-Z is looked at as a culture vulture. And I think in 2024, Drake is looked at as a culture vulture. So when you put a culture vulture against someone who's looked at as the pure essence of the culture,
LeRoy,
I think.
Why would you be saying that right now? Who thought Jay-Z was a culture vulture? Nobody thought that, man. Nobody thought that.
I used to be like, Jay is dope, and people would be like, Jay is dope. They'd be like, dog, you're just into materialism, bro. That's what I heard. That's what I heard every day, all day. They said you're into materialism. You ain't about no real stuff. I said Jay makes real stuff to me. They'd be like, nah, that ain't real.
You was probably saying that Jay was better than Nas, and then they was telling you that.
Yeah,
I actually was going with Nas. I was a Nas dude. I was the dude that was a Nas dude.
I mean, everybody like Jay, man. Come on, man. Like, if you was a real hip hop head, you love Jay. But you know what? You know what? Another thing that people don't think about when it comes down to Ether. I mean, you can watch all these interviews with Memphis Bleak and Beanie Siegel and PD Crack, and how when they tell the story about when they heard Ether or even Dame Dash, like how Jay-Z was reacting, like that lets you know that shit hit super hard. And the rollout of it coming out on his birthday, and the DJ playing it while he was in the club. And to be truthfully told, Ether really truly broke up Rockefeller. That's when Jay really started looking at Dame different. He felt like a little boy really after that record. And that's really where they relationship kind of went sour, was around that time where Ether came out. Ether crushed Rockefeller.
Ether came out in 2001 though, right? Rockefeller broke up in like 2005 or something. But even if we go 5, even if we went 3, right? We could go 3 because
2005 it was coming to its end. It was coming to its end, but
I think the numbers broke up Rockefeller. I think when the numbers came back and Jay saw that the numbers wasn't numbering, like the Young Guns not numbering, Beanie Siegel not numbering, and State Properties not numbering.
They were putting up numbers, man. They just wasn't putting up Jay-Z numbers. It was that line. Is he Dame Diddy, Dame Dash, or Dame Dummy? Oh, I get it. You Biggie and he Puffy. That was the end of Rockefeller right there.
Successful dudes getting money. So if you're calling me Biggie and Puffy, I mean, I guess I'm doing
that. That was the end of Rockefeller. That was the end of Rockefeller right there.
Ether. Let's we're gonna come back to that. It's a good segue. We're gonna come back to that. Ether it's a top 10 disc record. We got to move on. I got a couple points I would make, but I'm not gonna make. As far as replayability, you know, I think No Vaseline. I listen to those records a little bit more than I do Ether. Ether is still a dope record. Quiet as Kept. When I put on the Blueprint, I listen to Takeover more than I do listen to Ether. Ether, I think, was the knockout blow to Jay. But as far as like from a music perspective, I think Takeover technically is a better song than Ether. We're
sitting here moving the goalposts, because what we just said with Lost Ones with Lauryn Hill, of course it's a better song than a lot of these songs, but it's not a better diss record.
Okay, but
it's just not there.
But I'm okay.
Y'all caping for Jay. I get it. At the end of the day, if there's a record that could take off a top 3 guy off his high horse for the moment,
where did you
go? Moving forward,
where did you
very
go?
Strong record.
If Nas took Jay out, where was Jay? Because I was seeing Jay every day on TV. So where'd he go?
Mad Max with the super chat says Bridges over Ether, No Vaseline in that order. I mean, again, we know Jay's not gonna go anywhere as far as that goes, but as far as taking him off of that, I'm the king of New York, or taking him off of that, nobody can see
Madison Square Garden
somewhere else. He got to. You even got to admit this, LeRoy. He got taken down a notch.
Where? What notch? He's after.
Come on, bro.
Madison Square Garden.
Hey, he got taken down because he wasn't able to hide behind the numbers no more. He wasn't able to hide behind being hot and all the stuff that he was using to feel like he could go at Nas for.
He wasn't no more. Jay was after Ether.
It's the same thing like with the Kendrick Lamar and Drake thing. Kendrick it don't matter about the numbers that he's been making. We're not. You acting like he was supposed to disappear or he was supposed to fall off. That's not the point of what we're really saying.
You're saying that Nas got Jay out of. So I'm saying where they go.
Somebody said that.
No, it just what we're saying. It bruised him. It put a dent in Jay's armor, just like they not like us.
What dent?
Jay's armor. It
pulled the wool back. It pulled the wool. It pulled the cover off of his head.
Let's go to number one real quick because we got to wrap.
We'll get up out of here. We're
running at time. Tupac, Hit 'Em Up, the number one record according to Elliot Wilson in HipHopDX. It's Tupac.
I mean, I get Hit 'Em Up. I'm not a big fan of Hit 'Em Up as a diss record like that because Pac didn't really give us a lot of bars. A lot of that kind of got, pushed over to the Outlaws.
Yeah.
And I think that if we're ranking it up against other people's diss records where they went for Dolo on it, it's hard for me to put Hit 'Em Up over those records. But I do think it, obviously the impact's there. Obviously it's something that's going to go down in history. But I just don't think I don't think it's number one. I don't even think it's top 10 because it's not just Pop alone. So
well, I mean, it's kind of got that Meet the Grounds shock value to it, you know what I mean? So I would still say it's top 5. I still don't have it over Takeover or No Vaseline or Ether.
Right.
Against all odds is better than me.
I like what he did on Toss It Up, actually, man, when he was able to not only go at Dr. Dre, but he used the same sample as No Diggity. And he had Aaron Hall on the record where, Teddy Riley was on the other record. I think that's some real shit right there.
I think a caution to Drake. If you do the history of diss records, every time someone's wife is mentioned, something comes right after that. So I think a caution to Drake would be like, stop mentioning people's wives, because if you go down all the beefs, as soon as a wife comes up, a shooting happens. Go through them. Go through the beefs.
I mean, it happened to him when... I ain't saying the shooting, but when he mentioned Pusha T's wife, that's when things got turned all the way up. So
stop mentioning people's wife. That's not a good.
Like the professional said, Leon's dope movie, 1994, 1995. No women, no children, man. But this was HipHopDX's list. I think they did a poor job. I think the OG Elliot Wilson didn't do what he needed to do. We need to be short. It need to be like 25 records, 30 records tomorrow. Real quick little housekeeping thing. Tomorrow, we got a special show tomorrow at 7:00 tomorrow. Why won't it pop up? The top 10 Jay-Z and Nas feature verses. Quick little spoiler. God did not make the list. Beat will be in the chat, 7 p.m. tomorrow. Jay-Z, Nas, top 10 features. Me and Vay gonna break it all down. Make sure you drop yours in the chat. Make sure you let us know what you think. And then tomorrow, 7 p.m.
2 seconds. I think if you watch Fade to Black, you'll see Dame tell Jay, everybody should be at this level. And he's pointing to the rest of the group. And I think Jay took that as like, how does that mathematically make sense? And I think that broke up Rockefeller.
Well, all right, guys. Hit like and subscribe. We appreciate y'all, man. Great conversation. We went through the whole 100. And I'm sure we're going to see y'all tomorrow.
Tomorrow, 7 p.m.
Salute, fellas. Salute.
Shout out to Super LeRoy, Mike D.
Yes, sir.
We don't want to hear you say jigger no more.